Dragon Ball getting stronger from signing in Chapter 201-220. Chapter 201 Perfect and Free Extreme Intention Skill. Sun Wukong didn't panic, his body kept flashing, and finally jumped onto a pumice stone, watching the explosion come over Jillian. At this time, Jiren had turned into a sun, and the temperature of the entire ring rose sharply. "Get me down!" Jiren roared, and the terrifying breath swept towards Sun Wukong's position like an endless Wang Yang. "Come on, Jiren!" Sun Wukong's eyes shot fiercely, and he took a deep breath. The breath of his body also rose, like a star. Light. The moment the two energies came into contact, bursts of crackling sound came out instantly, and the fire light continued to emerge. The pumice stone under Sun Wukong's feet shattered in an instant, but fortunately, Sun Wukong's body had already shot up. Win for sure. Good job, Jiren. Delicious. Yeah, it's up to Jiren, it must be decided sooner. Kai, the god of the world king in the 11th universe, was also overjoyed. It's just that Topo on the side doesn't see it that way. He and Sun Wukong have faced each other, and he always feels that the other party won't lose so easily. Sure enough, an accident occurred, and Topo felt a powerful burst of energy. Fist. Jade. From the middle of the confrontation between Sun Wukong and Jiren, a powerful energy emerged. That is the shock wave generated by the punching collision. 967. I saw a figure, jumping up, as if, a white light rising into the sky. What? Sun Wukong still has the power to resist. Yume was shocked. In that case, even he himself could do nothing. Because you can't use flying skills. Jiren, it's time to end the fight. Of beaming is Sun Wukong, with a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. Boom. Almost at the moment when the figure of Sun Wukong appeared, a red figure jumped up, and then in a flash, he went straight to the position of Sun Wukong. Poof. A low voice sounded, the white light and the red light separated, but Jiren spewed out a bloody arrow. Impossible. Wei Mei was startled and cried out. Beerus also became serious, and Sun Wukong's performance at that moment just now seemed to have been. Sun Wukong. Jiren's pupils clenched, and his tone was full of wonder. But before it was finished, the figure of Sun Wukong arrived again. Sun Wukong came in a flash, and then kicked Jiren's neck directly, kicking him out. And Sun Wukong, whose body fell to the ground, shone with blue and white starlight arrogance all over his body, like a sharp sword. The fierce power is extremely dazzling. Weiss, Sun Wukong, he. Beps looked at Weiss and said uncertainly. Lord Beerus is right, Sun Wukong has indeed reached that level. With a faint smile on his face, Weiss nodded to Beerus. It can be said that Sun Wukong was also trained by him, which gave him a sense of accomplishment. Compared with Lord Beerus, it is far worse. It has been hundreds of millions of years, and he has not cultivated the ultimate inspiration technique to the end. Degree of beauty. It's so lazy. Beps also seemed to feel the contempt in Weiss' eyes, and suddenly became annoyed. What's the matter, It will be reached sooner or later. But he didn't believe it himself. Soon, Iwan, the god of destruction in the first universe, stood up, and then the god of destruction in the fifth universe, Urok. The god of destruction in the 8th universe, Ligel, Beerus, Umida, and Gold in the 12th universe, all still alive. The god of destruction stood up, staring directly at the figure of Sun Wukong. The form of Sun Wukong changed very quickly, and after a few seconds, a crisp sound came from Sun Wukong's body. Came in. A dazzling light came, and the most striking thing was a silver-gray hair that moved with the wind. Gray, and the body is surrounded by layers of starlight, and the scorching breath has completely disappeared. Sun Wukong's breath has completely calmed down at this time, standing calmly in front of everyone, making people BFAB. Can't feel any breath. I don't believe it. Jiren roared, his body flashed again, and attacked Sun Wukong. However, when his fist almost touched Sun Wukong's chest, he found that an afterimage appeared in front of him. Hey! The strong inertia made Jiren almost lose control of his figure and almost fell off the pumice stone. In the next second, countless fists slammed on Jillian, causing Jillian to shake. Except for Chumo and Rhadamanthus, Minos, the great priest and 12 angels, there is nothing else this time. Humans and gods can see Sun Wukong's movements clearly. Poof! Jiren spewed a bloody arrow and turned pale. No, I can't lose, so many years of hard work can't be in vain. Jiren kept shaking his head, firming up his beliefs. Monkey King, what are you procrastinating? Hurry up! Beerus shouted, you are running out of energy when you drag on. Just after he finished speaking, Jiren roared again. The crimson arrogance on his body was even more like a blood-colored ocean. The strong breath made Bizons change his color. It's over. Dead Sun Wukong, hurry up. Beerus was in a hurry to go mad, and wished he could incarnate in and eliminate Jiren. Sun Wukong also felt the difference in Jiren, and immediately began to fly over and slashed at Jiren's body. Ah! Jiren roared to the sky, and threw his fists away. Bang! A circle of incomparably powerful airwaves erupted, and the entire arena collapsed for several meters. The arena is full. Boom boom boom. Chumo, Rhadamanthus, and Minos immediately shouted, and used their own energy to compare this bullet to a bullet. The crushed stones that were countless times were blasted into dust. At this time, Jiren had completely released his own chi, and his whole body was on fire, with a terrifying temperature. Even the ring began to melt and turned into a lava state. With a loud shout, Sun Wukong's figure flew dozens of meters away, leaving only a starlight. Then the body stepped on the ground and jumped up quickly. Shish! A series of unrecognizable fist shadows swung beside Sun Wukong, and countless fist pressures beat the pits into the arena. Stand up. Good. The god of destruction in the 11th universe was so shocked that his power and speed had surpassed him. Itself a lot. He didn't expect that the limit of human beings could surpass god of destruction by so much. Chumo has become a god after all, but Sun Wukong and Jillian are completely human. Jillian, come on, beat Sun Wukong out. Topo shouted. Down pointing arrow. Chapter 202 The Charm of Sister Yu. Relying on this ubiquitous chi, Jiren began to grasp the shadow of Sun Wukong who was constantly dodging. The situation began to stand up to Sun Wukong, and the situation became even more difficult, even if he had the perfect freedom of mind. And Jiren spent such a large amount of chi, not to look good, the terrifying atmosphere and temperature surrounded Sun Wukong. Ha! Suddenly, the ubiquitous crimson-red aura suddenly began to collect, and it kept compressing in G-Lian's hands. 100 meters in diameter. 10 meters in diameter. However, Jiren continued to compress, and his face became hideous, but he knew that this was not enough to solve the opponent of Sun Wukong, and further compressed. It was not until the energy was compressed into the size of a fist that Jiren raised his head, his face full of sweat, and a terrifying pressure burst out from the energy ball in his hand. The figure of Sun Wukong had already attacked Jiren, but he was blocked by Jiren's breath wall before he could get close enough. In order to cope with Sun Wukong's attack, Jillian spent a third of his breath to condense this block. Breath wall. Jiren slammed the energy ball out with both hands. His feet suddenly softened, and he could no longer stand up straight. As if feeling the horror of the energy ball, Sun Wukong's figure swept back. But the speed of the energy ball is also very fast, closely following the figure of Sun Wukong. And Jiren's face has become contorted, making him feel powerless. However, he still forcibly held back, constantly manipulating the energy ball to pursue Sun Wukong. Soon the energy ball seemed to have turned into a black hole, and wherever it went, even the light was the same. The outer layer of the black hole is covered with a layer of purple arrogance, which makes people feel cold. But the suction of this black hole alone is nothing to Sun Wukong, and Sun Wukong can easily break free. But just as Sun Wukong was about to leave the black hole of the energy ball, suddenly a huge force came and knocked him into the direction of the energy ball. Damn, you actually attacked. Sun Wukong was furious and looked at the location of a phantom. It was the phantom Minnows, who had not yet started, with a strange smile on his face. It's already in a hostile state now. Your players from Universe 7 eliminated Ewan, so why don't you let me take the shot? Minnows said disdainfully, what a fair fight, that is just a right enjoyed by equal opponents. As for Sun Wukong, he doesn't deserve it. Boom. Sun Wukong is powerless in the face of the huge explosion. Even the perfect Zizai Gong can't avoid such a powerful energy explosion. Damn bastard. He actually interfered in my fair fight with Sun Wukong. Jiren, who was lying on the ground, was furious. The current situation was not what he wanted. For Sun Wukong, he has long regarded him as his true opponent. What he asked for was a fair fight, but he didn't expect to be destroyed by this Minnows. Jiren was angry, but helpless, because his energy was running out. It is simply not enough to deal with this powerful enemy. Sun Wukong was blasted out of the ring by the explosion of a powerful energy ball, and when he returned to the audience seat of the 7th universe, he was already scarred. Weiss hurried over to help him heal. Damn guy, actually attacked. Bishops looked very angry. The originally good situation was actually destroyed by the old monsters of the 1st universe. Now there are still Minnows in the 1st universe, Chumo in the 7th universe and the couple number 18, and the 8th character in the ring. Emu's Rhodamandus, 11th universe's Jiren. However, Jiren has no energy now, and will be eliminated at any time. In this way, there should be no problem in the 7th universe. Since you've run out of energy, I'll send you down, and I'll send the woman over there later. Minnows looked at Jiren coldly, and then looked at number 18. Eliminate Chumo's woman first and disturb Chumo's heart, so that he has a better chance of winning. In order to win the game, Minnows didn't mind the means. Fair enough, it's just relative. Well, do you want to take action on my woman? Chumo's figure suddenly appeared beside Minnows, followed by Rhodamandus. However, Chumo's speed is too fast, and Rhodamandus can only eat dirt behind. Minnows was shocked, but Chumo didn't expect Chumo to notice this side. However, he is a powerhouse with rich combat experience, and he pads his toes one by one, and immediately rushes out. But as soon as Minnows moved, Chumo's smile appeared less than a meter in front of him, and the casserole-sized fist slammed heavily. Minnows was shocked, and immediately crossed his arms to protect his chest. Bang! A terrifying air wave blasted out, directly knocking half of the station smashed into pieces. Minnows' body shot backwards, as if he was about to fall directly outside the ring. Dangerous. Ewan, the god of destruction in the 1st universe, was shocked. However, Minnows responded quickly, stepping on his left foot with his right foot and stepping on his right foot with his left foot, and his body continued to rise. After a while, he returned to the ground. At this time, Chumo and Rhodamandus fought together again. After a slight delay, Rhodamandus immediately seized the opportunity. However, Minnows was not very happy, because Jiren stood up again. And standing beside Jillian as Chumo's woman, number 18, she passed the chi from her body to Jillian, making Jillian recover from exhausted energy. Fantastic, number 18. Jiren, beat that damned guy. Sun Wukong was very excited to see that, although others were no longer in the ring, Jiren now represented him. 18 with complicated eyes, feeling that his faith was shaken for the first time in years. Is this what it feels like to be a companion? Jiren, who was once betrayed by his companions, actually felt the warmth of the enemy player number 18 that he had not seen for a long time. It's okay, you have to cheer. This guy is too sinister, help me teach him a lesson. No, 18 Ruru laughs. Her original intention was to let Jillian hold Minnows and let her man concentrate on dealing with Rhodamandus. And her anger is infinite, and it doesn't matter if she gives it. But he didn't expect Jiren's reaction to be so big. No, 18 has many years of experience in managing the group, so he quickly reacted and gave Jiren a warm smile. Instantly captured the heart of an innocent old and young man. However, Jiren is more grateful to number 18, making him feel the warmth of his partners, although they are not teammates yet. Chapter 203 The Final Duel. Then, number 18 stepped back and handed the ring to Jiren and Minnows. Now it's time to settle our account and interrupt my fight with Sun Wukong, you damn it. Jiren said angrily. This was the first time he wanted to kill someone. Since you want to go on so much, then I will fulfill you. The words were full of domineering. Minnows did not take Jiren in his eyes, and his tone began to become serious. In an instant, the temperament of the whole person changed, and the whole body was full of awe-inspiring momentum, just staring at him. It takes infinite courage. Bang! A whirlwind instantly engulfed the ground, and Minnows disappeared from sight. Crackling. Boom boom. One leg and one foot, the attack is continuous and rapid. Minnows' attack was overwhelming, like a surging wave, piling up in layers. When 130 arrived in front of Jiren, it was completely irresistible. Jiren's muscles tightened in the face of Minnows' impending attack. Click. The force was released suddenly, and the body moved quickly and violently. But Minnows firmly locked his way, and Jiren felt the attack from one wave after another. A heavy pressure. This opponent is terrible. With his current strength, he can't defeat it, but he has to work harder with Sun Wukong's share. Jiren's eyes suddenly lit up with a strange red light, and a huge spiritual force burst out. With a very high artistic conception. The body moves instinctively. But how powerful Minnows was. I saw him rush forward, only 3 meters away from Jiren. When leaving, place one foot directly on the ground. In an instant, the broken stones jumped up, and then he punched out. In an instant, an intoxicating light pierced through the void. In front of this domineering fist, all beautiful things become eclipsed. Hula, the strong air hood burst open, and the smoke covered the sight. Tick-tock, blood dripped to the ground, splashing blood. Jiren lowered his head, his eyes glowing red. Ahead, Minnows' arm was firmly grasped by Jiren, and there was a crimson light between his palms. Minnows' attack was actually connected by G. However, Jiren paid a heavy price, as if his spiritual power had been hit, all 7 orifices bleed. Liquid. Released his hand, Minnows stepped back several meters and praised, "You are the first one who can take my attack head-on. If you are given enough time, perhaps it is not a problem to advance to the 7th floor of the realm of gods." If you guessed correctly, you used the power of mind just now. From the look of you, it is the backlash of superpowers, and the spirit suffers. Too great trauma. Ahem, the strength of the 7th floor of the realm of the gods is actually so powerful. A mouthful of blood spewed out of his mouth, and Jiren's spirit was very dispirited. Minnows smiled and said, "Because this is a completely different realm, and you will only know how great it is when you understand it." Han. Then he shook his head and pointed his palm at Jiren. Jiren smiled bitterly. He is indeed not the opponent of the 7th floor of the realm of the gods. Boo. As a brilliant and bright Qigong wave broke through the sky, Jillian was taken away by the Qigong wave, and he went out again. We have now returned to the waiting area of the 11th universe. Margarita, hurry up and heal Jiren. Yumi straightened Jiren's body and said to the angel Margarita. Okay. The light blue divine power healed Jiren's injuries little by little. Sorry, I didn't lead the 11th universe to the end. Jiren said weakly. Yumi sighed, but couldn't blame Jiren either. The 11th universe player Jiren is eliminated, and all 10th universe players are eliminated. The great priest said lightly, looking at Jiren, as if he admired it. This time, King Quan was not in a hurry to clear the 11th universe. It seemed that all his energy was on Chu Mo's side. In battle. Not only King Quan, but at this moment everyone's eyes are focused on the remaining three. At this time, in addition to Chumo and Rhadamanthus fighting, Minos was also involved. In other words, even if he didn't want to intervene in the battle between the two, Chumo and Rhadamanthus wouldn't let it go. Let him stand by the fisherman's prophet. Chumo moved faster than lightning and attacked Minos directly. Minos suddenly avoided, while Rhadamanthus slaughtered out and punched Chumo. When he was about to succeed, Chumo's attack suddenly shifted and attacked Rhadamanthus. Come. True or false, sometimes the real body, sometimes the afterimage. The complexity of the melee between the three has made it impossible for angels such as Weiss to make an accurate judgment. Perhaps, only the great priest can see this. Chumo held his breath and carefully observed the situation of the other two. Facing the two masters of Minos and Rhadamanthus, he did not dare to be careless. Suddenly, a ripple appeared in the space, and under his fierce and indiscriminate wide-area attack, Minos' figure appeared in the void. There. Chumo's eyes rolled, his body moved lightly, and then he concentrated his loose attacks to one point. Boom boom boom. The fierce battle finally came. Minos was caught by Chumo and had to take the initiative to fight. But Chumo didn't take long for it. The ripples came out of the distorted space, and Rhadamanthus also. Whizzing. Chumo hit Minos with a single blow, then turned around and suffered another attack from Rhadamanthus. Boom. The earth-shattering noise shook the entire realm of nothingness, and the invisible sound waves swayed out, causing huge folds to appear in the space. Chumo's face condensed, and there was a hint of coldness between his brows, and a dangerous omen suddenly flashed. Rhadamanthus' attack strikes again. However, Chumo didn't want to bear the opponent's 4.2 attack. So he turned around, and the fist slammed out, landing with Rhadamanthus' attack. Dragon Fist. The golden dragon phantom rose and slammed directly into Rhadamanthus' face. Sparkling electric arc made a beep sound, the air made a piercing beep, and the golden electric mons burst out deafening sound. Click. The tiger mask on Rhadamanthus' face was shattered by the golden dragon, revealing the face below, double golden. The vertical pupil stared at Chumo faintly. This is the first time that Chumo has seen the appearance of Rhadamanthus clearly, and there is actually a hidden under the tiger mask. Murloc's head. Che, Rhadamanthus, you're still so ugly. Minos flashed out, and after seeing the appearance of Rhadamanthus, a pair of contemptuous eyes. Chapter 204 The Battle Beyond Angels. Rhadamanthus sneered when he heard the words, exuding lavender brilliance, and said, "You think you are fine. See, do you dare to show your true face? Old leech." Minos's expression froze, and he suddenly became annoyed, looking at Rhadamanthus angrily. "Damn mermaid, I'm going to kill you. You're the damn leech, blood-sucking monster. Come on." During the conversation, Minos and Rhadamanthus quickly became a group. Bang. Bump. Boom. Minos and Rhadamanthus quickly retreated, and Chumo was involved in the violent attack. After Chumo, Minos, and Rhadamanthus each fired a punch, they confronted each other in a triangle again. Be vigilant and be ready to strike again. Chumo stared at them thousands of meters away with a solemn face. His eyes were like electricity, and an invisible aura burst out. Lock the opponent firmly. At this time, there is no need to be cautious. In the face of absolute strength, the attack of opening and closing is successful. Is preferred. Call 15. The three of them moved faster and faster, so fast that they seemed to disappear quickly, and at the same time. It suddenly appeared in the area above the meter. The empty boundless world made a click sound again, rolling up a violent and chaotic energy vortex. The three arrogances of silver, red and purple constantly change their movement speed. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, leaving behind indistinct afterimages in the void. Bang. Bang bang bang. Chumo turned around, rushed directly to the ground, and attacked Rhadamanthus. Bang. The entire space seemed to be torn apart, and the smooth ring surface suddenly burst open, and an elongated arc ball smashed it. Falling. Rhadamandus and Chumo punched each other and competed with each other for arm strength. At this time, the majestic power made the two of them. Quality keeps increasing. At the moment of the impact, the competition ring rattled, suddenly sank 6 or 7 meters, and moved towards all sides. Bafangji extends a circle of cracks with a range of nearly 1 kilometer. Electric lights flickered around, as if gods had come to the world, but their competition did not last long. The next second, Minnow's attack fell from the sky, interrupting the collision between Chumo and Rhadamandus. With the thick dust covering his sight, Chumo flickered, quickly escaped the melee between the two, and jumped to the ground. On a boulder in midair. A gleam of light flashed in the red eyes. At this time, Chumo had a moment of leisure to quietly observe Lada. The battle of Mandy's and Minnow's. This look made his blood boil, and all the cells in his body trembled. With the strength they are showing now, both of them are infinitely close to the strength of Weiss. No, maybe already. It might even surpass Whis, and if they join forces, only Super Saiyan 5 will definitely not be an opponent. If you want to win, you have to either keep them both drained, or find a way to get one of them out of the way first. Eliminate them, otherwise we can only forcefully lift up the energy and eliminate them both together. Chumo knew it was impossible for Minnow's and Rhadamandus to consume each other, and they would not sit back and watch. Watch the fire from the other side of the bank, and reap the benefits of the fishermen. It is difficult to eliminate one by one first, they are all old foxes, and they will not let themselves succeed easily. The only way is to continue to reluctantly improve his strength, although only a few minutes, but it should be enough. Timing, though, make sure you take it. Soon Chumo moved again, and saw several specious phantoms suddenly appear in the sky. At the moment when these phantoms flashed, they all rushed between Minnow's and Rhadamandus. Good day. Rhadamandus, who was fighting fiercely with Minnow's, shouted, but when his fist passed through Chumo's body. After a while, he realized that what he had attacked was just an afterimage. While searching for Chumo's figure, the phantom that had gradually dissipated suddenly solidified. Bang! The phantom twisted his body, and a huge force emanated from his waist, smashing Rhadamandus out. When it fell to the ground, it smashed a large pit with a diameter of 100 meters. A phantom with a real attack, kinda interesting. In the center of the pit, Rhadamandus' body disappeared quickly after touching the ground. A flash of purple arrogance appeared behind Chumo. You're not too bad, you discovered my true location so quickly. Chumo looked at Rhadamandus and said lightly. It's just a little trick, I used it hundreds of millions of years ago. Saying that, Rhadamandus shouted, the tip of his fist suddenly flashed purple light, and he waved his fist, a false flash. He had already come to Chumo, and his fist fell. Haha, see if I can take it. Chumo laughed, his expression even more excited, his face evoked a wicked smile. The body erupted into pieces of silver starlight Shenhua-like brilliance, and the figure became even more shining. The outburst confronted the coercion of Rhadamandus. Crackling, a few wisps of micro-mang flickering. Immediately, there was a loud bang, and the crystal flashes collided in the void, and it was like destroying the world for a while. At the same time, the collision stretched out thousands of powerful lightning beams, which directly slammed into the light curtain around the ring. The great priest hurriedly put one in both hands to strengthen the light curtain barrier. The vast and empty boundless world made a click sound, and the same collision broke out in a row and returned to Taiwan for thousands of times, but 287 was rare. You can see the specific battle process. Bang! Rhadamandus endured Chumo's powerful punch, and when the fist fell on his chest, Rhadamandus also. Take the opportunity to attack. Poof! The two flew out at the same time, and drank a few drops of dark red blood in the air. However, Chumo has SSS level regeneration ability and immortality, and a little injury will take less than a second. Back to normal. Then the two of them seemed to have agreed, and at the same time they suddenly appeared in another place, and invariably went to the minnows, who was still watching the battle, attacked. Want to sit on the mountain and watch tiger fights? No way. In an instant, the three of them fought into a ball again, and layers of earth-shattering energy flashed in the air. The strong aura suddenly shocked the minds of everyone present. At this time, their strength has been raised to the extreme, and it is slightly beyond the strength of Weiss. In the viewing area, all the contestants and the god of destruction all stared at the sky with solemn eyes, but except for I could not see any details except for the spherical impact effect that suddenly flashed. Excellent. Sun Wukong swallowed his saliva and felt his scalp go numb. This is the highest level of powerhouse, and now he can't even see the shadow of their battle. Chapter 205 Super Race God Super 5. At the same time, Sun Wukong also became enthusiastic. When he thought that there were so many powerful masters in the universe, a powerful impetus emerged. He must reach their intensity. No, 18 and other beautiful women such as Vados and Makalita also stared at them with their pretty faces, looking at them attentively. The eyes kept turning with the battle on the venue, and there was a trace of smirk in the eyes. Weiss, how is their strength compared to yours? Beerus' eyes widened, his expression less calm. Well, Beerus-sama, if I really want to say, they are no less than me. Weiss thought for a moment, and a bright smile appeared on his delicate face. Hearing this, Beerus was stunned. So you can't even take their tricks. People are more dead than people, and goods are thrown away. When did the gap between him and Chumo become so big? He glanced at Weiss, thinking that the three people fighting on the field in front of him were no less than Weiss, and couldn't help swallowing saliva. Unbelievable, how the hell did that guy in the 7th universe cultivate? He's not yet 50 years old, right? Can actually be on par with Mr. Minnows. Yuang, the god of destruction in the 1st universe, opened his eyes, and his heart was horrified, unbelievable. Likewise, Rigel, the fox god of destruction in the 8th universe, also locked his eyes tightly. Obviously you are still so young, how did you cultivate? Did you fail? He leaned on his chin, lost in thought. In Universe 11, Jiren, whose body has fully recovered, stared at the boss with a shocked expression on his face. Battle in the ring. The dark eyes flickered with red light, and after a long time, he couldn't help sighing and feeling a little lost. It turns out that this is their real strength. Originally thought that he could last a few minutes in Minnows' hands, Jiren felt that the gap between himself and the other party was not too big. But now after seeing the fierce battle between Minnows and Chumo and others, he realized that he thought too simply. This Minnows didn't care about anyone other than Chumo and Rhodamandus, so in his opinion, it doesn't matter what a sneak attack. Sun Wukong also thinks about the same, and these people are not in the eyes of Minnows at all. It's beautiful, but I can't see it at all. King Quan swayed his feet and stared at Chumo and the three of them with his cute eyes. The terrifying fireworks continued to bloom in the arena, and the beautiful scenery presented made the king very happy. Although I can't see it very clearly, for King Quan Wong, whose heart is like a child, he doesn't care at all. There were those, thump thump thump, sounds and nice big fireworks that made him very happy already. Then, Lord Quanwong, do you want them to slow down a bit? After hearing the words of King Quan, the high priest asked. Ah, no need, that's fine too. The great priest nodded silently, raised his head to look at the ring, and suddenly his face changed. He found that with the fierce battle of Chumo and the three of them, they showed absolute power, and Wuzherji could no longer continue under such a huge energy oppression. Immediately stretched out his palm to reinforce the space of the light curtain. Okay, the time has come. Chumo felt that there was not much more, and immediately shouted. The silver arrogance has an extra layer of red, and the silver hair has an extra layer of red, but the breath on the body is not. It seems to be hidden, so people can't feel it. However, seeing Chumo's form, the great priest's eyes suddenly flashed a stern look. The strength of this kid is getting stronger and stronger. Chumo once again transformed into the Super Saiyan 5 form, and the boundless coercion directly pressed him out, and the entire arena was red. Lightning, keep crackling down. As if the end of the universe is coming. Wow! In the void above the arena, a white palm stretched out from the densely packed space full of electric light, and followed it. That is, the great force always comes. The void within 100 meters exploded. Huh! Minos noticed, and his face changed suddenly. Rhadamandus also raised his head at this time, his eyes watching. Bang! It was as if a real attack hit, and he retreated for dozens of meters. Minos stepped on the ground, and he was almost in the ring under his feet. When it collapsed, he finally stopped himself. Minos' body was numb, and he lost consciousness. Great! Minos gasped, his face as pale as paper. Rhadamandus glanced at it and immediately gave up his plan to continue attacking Minos, because he felt that Chumo's current strength is definitely stronger than both of them. Chumo's stern face suddenly smiled. Even if they joined forces, what would he be afraid of? With a kick of both feet, the whole person jumped up again. Bang bang bang. The fight continued, sand and stones flew over the arena, and the venue, which was thousands of feet long and wide, finally couldn't bear the huge impact. Crackling sound. The intensity of the attack was increased at once, and the three of them seemed to be exhausted. Bang, sound, Chumo jumped up and punched Rhadamandus with a heavy fist. One move while Rhadamandus was knocked down from the sky. Rhadamandus' eyes flashed with fiery heat, his body lowered, his hands rested on the ground, and 10 fingers were inserted into the ring. Middle. Boom! The ground suddenly sank by more than 10 meters, and when all the stones underfoot collapsed. With this rebounding force, Rhadamandus flickered and attacked Chumo. In terms of strength alone, the gap between Rhadamandus and Chumo was not big, but now Chumo's strength has surpassed him by many. Rhadamandus is also aware of this point by Lees, and he knows that the gap has widened now. What kind of monster is this Saiyan in the 7th universe? It was a tie with Kankan, which made Rhadamandus hold his breath. At the same time, he has to obey the old. He is the god of destruction in the previous era, and strictly speaking, he should not bully the small. But for the sake of the 8th universe's face, he agreed to Ligier's invitation to fight on behalf of the 8th universe. Thinking of this, Rhadamandus glanced at Minos Go, who was knocked out. The corners of Chumo's mouth raised a crazy smile, and he was about to accept the attack of Rhadamandus. But at this moment, Minos of the 1st universe suddenly returned and attacked, and the Tao exuded gorgeousness. The Qigong wave of light hit Chumo. Chumo sneered in his heart. While receiving the full blow of Rhadamandus, Minos' attack also fell on him. Chapter 206. The output depends on roar. Ha! Chumo roared directly, and the arrogance soared into the sky, shaking them out. Minos, you can leave. Chumo sneered, his eyes bursting with cold light. Minos was startled, instinctively aware of the danger. The ground collapsed under Chumo's feet, and a huge force came, and then a split, headed towards Minos. Attack the past. Bang! Time seemed to stand still at this moment, the void paused, and the entire horizontal space was distorted. Minos, who was attacked by Chumo, snorted a bloody arrow with a poof, and his body swiftly moved towards him. The ground of the arena slammed down. It won't let you succeed. Minos roared and tried his best to use his power. A sound, the majestic power spread out. The bright beam of light went straight to the ring. Go down. Chumo appeared on top of Minos again, clasped his fists with both hands, and slammed it down with 1,000 strength. Bang! Minos slammed directly into the arena ground. Under the action of powerful force, Minos' body was pierced directly. the arena, and then disappeared into the void of the boundless world. There was a dead silence for a moment, and no one spoke. The first universe Minnows, 280 eliminated. The Grand Priest announced loudly, with a smile in his eyes. Mr. Minnows, did you lose? Ewan, the god of destruction in the first universe, was stunned for a moment. But thinking of Chumo's terrifying power, even if it is the god of destruction, I'm afraid it will be the same with a little touch. Will be gray. Smoked out. There are also other gods of destruction in other universes who are also sluggish, and they are all shocked. Crack. Crack. It sounded like something was breaking, and then in the horrified eyes of everyone, the huge ring finally disintegrated. The figures of Chumo and Rhadamandus suddenly appeared on the two fragmented stones, and then looked away from each other. These stones are not small, with a diameter of more than 10 meters. At this time, the two of them are very different. One is as plain as water, the other is as breathless as a cow, but all four eyes burst out. Dazzling light, staring at each other. Bang! In just a blink of an eye, Chumo and Rhadamandus' fists slammed together again. At the same time as a violent collision sound came, a terrifying air wave, centered on the two, was like a ripple. It spreads out in all directions BHBH in an instant. The fists of the two people stalemate together, and the fists, because of the violent collision, formed a road after another. Scary red lightning. The lightning struck the gravel beside him, turning the stones into powder in an instant. Rhadamandus gritted his teeth, barely raised his leg, and a whip leg turned into a black shadow in the sky, and swept directly towards Chumo. Chumo sneered and kicked away. Bang! This whiplash of Rhadamandus was easily blocked by Chumo. Ha! Ha! After seeing Chumo blocking his whip leg, Rhadamandus roared, and his figure disappeared in place. Chumo smiled and disappeared. The next second, when the two of them appeared again, they had already appeared on another stone that was only a few meters in size. On the head. A new fierce battle. Bang! Bang! Boom! 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 I saw that the fists, elbows and knees of the two of them were not new and were colliding violently. The air trembled violently. But after each collision, Chumo was still smiling, while Rhadamandus' face was flushed, as if suffering from. Not anymore. Rhadamandus is going to lose. Unfortunately, we didn't join forces, otherwise, there is still a chance. Minnows looked at the figures of Chumo and Rhadamandus and said lightly. There was a trace of unwillingness in his eyes. Ewan couldn't help but nodded when he heard it, and he could also see that the situation of Rhadamandus was very bad. Although we all know that Chumo's form must not last, everyone also knows that this Rhadamandus. It's definitely not going to last until then. Ha! After Rhadamandus shouted, his foot moved, and his figure was like lightning, rushing directly towards Chumo. Bang! Chumo didn't start to move until Rhadamandus bullied him in front of him. Rhadamandus punched directly at Chumo. Facing this punch, Chumo just slowly raised his arm. When Rhadamandus' fist bombed over, a finger gently pulled Damandus' fist was blocked. Nani! Mr. Rhadamandus' powerful attack was blocked so easily. Ligil, the god of destruction in Universe 8, was shocked when he saw this scene. Not only him, except for the great priest and the whole king, everyone was shocked. What a power this is! In the next second, under everyone's shocked gaze, Chumo just waved his arm, and Rhadamandus was slammed backwards. Originally, Chumo's Super Saiyan 5 strength was above Rhadamandus and Minnows. Now that Minnows is missing, Chumo has become a super race god again, and his strength is much stronger. It's actually so powerful. Rhadamandus said with a wry smile as he retreated. Do you want to continue? Chumo, whose arrogance has been completely restrained, stared at Lada Yandis. I haven't lost yet. Rhadamandus staggered to his feet, looked at Chumo firmly, and folded his hands together. A flash of light flashed. Take my last attack. After speaking, with a push of both hands, a powerful energy wave blasted directly over. Chumo's eyes stared, his hands folded into a calyx shape, a sky blue energy wave condensed out, and then pushed it out. Super Turtle School Qigong Wave. The two dazzling energy waves collided fiercely, and the whole world of nothingness began to tremble. The light curtain barrier under the cloth also exploded instantly and turned into countless fragments. The great priest was stunned for a moment, but he did not expect that the energy of Chumo and Rhadamandus could reach this level. Then he folded his hands, and a light curtain flew over again, wrapping the shattered arena. Ya, ya, ah, ah. Both Chumo and Rhadamandus roared loudly. Now is the time when the output depends on roaring. Whoever's voice is louder means who is stronger. Rhadamandus quickly smiled bitterly, the energy wave he blasted with all his strength lost, and Chumo, the louder Saiyan, lost. Chapter 207 Super Dragon equals All King Toys. As the turtle Qigong wave slammed on Rhadamandus, Rhadamandus flew out of the ring and fell into the void of the boundless. Then he appeared in the audience of Universe 8, with a wry smile on his face, his eyes kept on Chumo. All eyes are on Chumo. Chumo was suspended, then took number 18 feet's hand and flew back to the audience seat of Universe 7. Rhadamandus, the contestant of the 8th universe, was eliminated, and the winner of this power conference is the 7th universe. The Grand Priest announced with a smile on his face. Oh yeah, we won. The King of the Realm Shindaxi cried out, even Piccolo, Son Gohan and others, vice hot tears eye-catching expression. However, the Realm King Shen Shin was soon lost again. Agreed, it also means that another universe is going to disappear, which is not for the creator of the King God, no. What good news. Chumo, this guy. It's really reassuring, it's not bad. Beerus doesn't care about that, as long as he doesn't get wiped out. Although the elephant is gone, it is still impossible. Chumo, super awesome. King Quan shook his arms constantly, looking very excited. By the rules, there are only 5 universes left. The 11th universe has been defeated, clear it. King Quan finally remembered the previous rules, and with a single gesture of his hands, a flash of light lit up, and everyone in the 11th universe disappeared. Lost. Before disappearing, Jillian looked at Chumo and Sun Wukong and said, Chumo, it's a pity, there is no chance to catch up with you. Monkey King, you are a respectable opponent, I am very happy to play against you. Unfortunately, there is no chance. Goodbye. Then the body turned into a little starlight and disappeared. Don't worry, Jiren, there's still a chance. Chumo, you're right. Sun Wukong looked at the direction in which the 11th universe disappeared and muttered. Maybe, there is a long way to go, and you have to continue to practice hard. Chumo smiled lightly, and you Vegeta. When Chumo finished saying this, the system's voice also remembered at the right time. Congratulations to the host for the first place in the Power Gaining Conference, for completing this sign-in task, and obtaining the corresponding sign-in ceremony. Bag. Do you want to open the sign-in package now? Open now. Chumo said in his heart, of course, this will be rewarded. Later, he will continue to complete the new sign-in task. He also. I hope this sign-in package can give him some surprises. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully opening the sign-in package and obtaining the Fire of God. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the SSS level healing ability, which is equivalent to the angel level. Ding! Congratulations to the host for learning the Word of God. Chumo was overjoyed at first, but then he was speechless. God's fire seed is okay, at least one level of God's realm can be raised. But this ability to cure love made him not like it very much, and it was an auxiliary, or a nanny type. However, since it was a reward, he could only accept it happily. At any rate, in the future, if the precious daughter and a few old men. My mother is injured, but she can heal quickly. As for the others, I'm sorry, it depends on his mood. Since the 7th universe has won the championship of this power conference, they will be rewarded with Super Dragon Ball! Quote. The great priest nodded to King Quan, asked in a low voice, and then said. Then, with a stretch of hands and a stroke, 7 incomparably huge Super Dragon Balls appeared in the boundless world. The dazzling light made people in other universes who had not seen Super Dragon Ball wondered. The Super Dragon Ball thing that hardly anyone else has heard of except the god of destruction in every universe. Of God to the 7 Super Dragon Balls. After a dazzling burst of light, the Super Dragon finally appeared. But I don't know if it's because in front of King Quan and the Great Priest, the Super Dragon is much more obedient this time. Not as grand as last time. But it still amazes people in other universes. Even the 4 gods of destruction, such as Ewan and Ligel, are very surprised. Be surprised. They had heard about this super dragon, but it was the first time they had actually seen it. Chumo, what wish do you want to make? Super dragons can help you make them come true. This is the dragon god Salamanong. It came out super fun. King Quan stepped down from the throne and said to Chumo with a happy face. This super dragon is an entertainment toy made by the former dragon god Salama for the entertainment of King Quan. Wong was so tired of playing that he almost forgot about this super dragon. Chumo, why don't you make a wish and let this dragon make a bunch of fun things for us? If it's not fun, just smoke it. King Quan's words left Chumo and the others speechless. As expected of the king of all, only he can say these words. Please state your wishes, and I can help you realize any wishes. The super dragon looked at Chumo. Weiss, what do you think Chumo will wish for? Beerus asked in a low voice. Chumo is a very strange guy, and his strength is so strong. He was really curious about Chumo's wishes. I'm not sure about this, what does he want? Weiss nodded a big pig's hoof and looked very irresponsible, leaving Bizon speechless. Nima, can you stop eating all the time? I haven't eaten yet. Sun Wukong, speak for yourself. Chumo simply gave up his position. He actually wanted to say, let the Super Dragon Envoy Grand Priest agree to his next move. Proposal request. But he knew that this was definitely difficult for Qianglong. The Grand Priest and the Dragon God Salama are both super strong at the same level, and even the Grand Priest is stronger. It is strange that this super dragon can change the will of the Great Priest. Therefore, Chumo simply asked Sun Wukong to make a wish. Anyway, he didn't really want to make the 6 out of the 12 universes. A universe resurrected. Because then, there will be more trouble later. However, some things cannot be avoided. Sun Wukong was overjoyed, nodded to Chumo, and then said loudly, Dragon, please let all be cleared. Let's restore the removed universe to its original form. The sound is loud, but the result is awkward. Because Super Shenlong didn't react at all, he suddenly let those players and God of Destruction who were full of expectations in other universes. They were greatly disappointed. Idiot, use the language of God. If you don't understand, ask me to translate it. Chumo had no choice but to reward Sun Wukong with a burst of chestnuts. This guy was helpless, and he really lost the face of the 7th universe. Then, he murmured to the super dragon for a while and said a great deal of divine language. The Great Priest and the angels looked at Chumo in amazement. Where did this guy learn the language of God? It's so pure. Chapter 208 Challenge to the Great Priest. After hearing Chumo's words of God, the super dragon nodded quickly, and then his eyes shot 2 golden lights. In an instant, countless golden light spots circled from the void of the realm of nothingness, and then flew out of the realm of nothingness. In the next second, the God of Destruction, and the players from the remaining 7 universes all returned to the auditorium. Superior. Are we resurrected? Great, we're not dead yet. Wow, it feels so good to be alive. Everyone and God wept with joy, surprise, excitement, and the joy of being resurrected from the dead appeared on everyone's faces. It really is your wish, Chumo. Helus, the god of destruction in the second universe, looked in Chumo's direction with a burst of stars in his eyes. On the 18th, I also saw Hela's eyes, holding Chumo's hand as if in a demonstration, and, 707 inches put his body close to him. He went up and ditched Chumo's arm. Embarrassing Chumo. However, it was so comfortable that he was reluctant to leave. Master Vegeta, thank you for resurrecting us, you honored our promise. With tears in his eyes, Gabe credited Vegeta with all the credit. Chumo couldn't help laughing when he heard it. This kid is really stupid. Vegeta seemed to feel Chumo's contempt, and her face was rarely red. He didn't stay till the end, and the wish was also made by Sun Wukong. However, this is also their long-established wish in the 7th universe, and it also has his share of efforts. After Champa came back to life, he turned his eyes to Beerus and whispered, "Thank you, brother." The voice was soft, but Beerus still heard it, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. This time, he showed his face. "Jillian, I didn't expect that we could be resurrected." Toko looked at his body in disbelief and said excitedly to Jiren. "Yume is also excited, and it feels so good to be alive." "Yeah, I didn't expect to be resurrected so quickly." Jillian clenched his fists, then turned his eyes to Chumo and Sun Wukong. "It's the guy from the 7th universe. I'm afraid they used Super Dragon Ball to resurrect everyone." "Chumo, Sun Wukong, you guys are really incomprehensible guys. I think, in the future, I can continue to follow. You are fighting." Xian Jing looked closely at Ruo Chumo and Sun Wukong. He had not yet officially fought against Chumo, so he not only had to defeat Sun Wukong, but also to challenge Chumo. "Oh hey, I'm really glad to see you again, Master Yume. I didn't expect that, the 7th universe. Chumo is indeed surprising." Angel Margarita looked at Chumo with a strange color in her eyes. "Very funny guy. Lord Ramsey, it's great to see you again." The angel of the 10th universe, Kessie, smiled. "Come on, you will be so kind. At least let you bribe your brother-in-law and let him open up to the 10th universe network." One sighed. Ramsey twitched his big nose, unhappy. If the eldest daughter of this great priest asks the great priest's father, there will be absolutely no problem. Don't look at this. Kessie's appearance is similar to that of little Loli, but she is not a good master. Okay, this power conference has ended successfully. Everyone can return to their respective universes. The Grand Priest saw King Quan smiling happily, so he began to announce. All the gods of destruction breathed a sigh of relief, and finally made Lord Quanwang happy, and could go back. Wait. Just when everyone breathed a sigh of relief, a voice sounded again, and all the gods of destruction couldn't help but be frightened. Get nervous. Seeing that it was Chumo who pronounced it, they immediately cursed in their hearts. Your sister, don't talk about any more moths, we still want to live 2 more years. What else do you want? Just say it. Priest said with a smile, and when he saw Chumo's expression but stopped, he asked with a smile. Chumo took a step forward gently and said with a smile, I want to discuss with your excellency the great priest. I was able to take 10 moves from the great priest, and I also asked the great priest to grant me a request. Chumo's words can be said to be earth-shattering, causing everyone's faces to turn pale. Your sister, challenged the great priest, this is the first time, these hundreds of millions of years. The siblings, Weiss and Vados, looked at each other. What did Chumo want to do? Margarita also looked at Chumo with embarrassed eyes. Is this guy stupid or bold? Dare to challenge the great priest, still the first. Chris is also a curious, daring man. Or a man who is not afraid. Beerus was frightened to death, his body trembled, and he hurriedly screamed. Hey, damn Chumo, are you dying? Hurry up and apologize to the great priest. After he finished speaking, he looked cautiously towards the great priest, for fear that the great priest would be dissatisfied one by one and directly destroy Chumo. And then he solved the 7th universe. Just now Beerus also regarded Chumo as the savior of the seventh universe. Now it seems that whereas the savior, it is clear. It's the evil star. Bold, what a noble existence, Your Excellency the Great Priest, how can a guy like you be provocative? You haven't. Quickly confess your guilt and ask your high priest for forgiveness. Several male angels shouted out one after another, they were not so kind, otherwise they would not let a few. The god of destruction has made small moves in private. Seeing that Chumo dared to challenge the great priest, he immediately jumped out to show his loyalty. Angels are high above, although they are only servants of God of destruction in name, but in reality they are destruction. God's guardian. And the strength is strong, let alone other life in the universe. In their eyes, even the god of destruction is not their opponent, let alone other life forms. Chumo 0.9 challenged their angels to the strongest, that is, to challenge their entire angel family. Except for the Vados brothers and sisters, as well as Kes and Makurita, all the angels are very fond of Chumo's thorn. Dissatisfied. If it has been a long time, how will their angels rule these universes in the future? But Vados admired Chumo's courage, maybe it was the courage Liang Muru gave him. She is not as angry as other angels, she and Wes are used to being friends with other lifeforms. There is no such lofty mentality. She felt that Chumo was nothing more than constantly climbing the peak of the strong at this time. Such a person has the ability to become the strongest. Ambition. In their eyes, when they meet a more powerful opponent, they will definitely challenge. This time it was just because the challenged opponent was a high priest. Chapter 209 Respect from Angels. Just when everyone thought the Grand Priest would refuse, Chi-Chi was shocked the next second. Haha, you're very interesting, it's been a long time since no one dared to talk to me like that. All of a sudden, the Great Priest of Peace would let out such a good laugh, which immediately made Bigos and other gods of destruction stupid. Limit. They are still the first time seeing the Great Priest appear like this. The Great Priest folded his hands, a huge ring appeared in the void, and then the figure appeared directly in the ring. Superior. It was as if he had been in the ring for a long time, and there was no sense of abruptness. This hand directly shocked everyone. Because they looked at the Great Priest directly like this, but they didn't find out how the Great Priest disappeared. I didn't see how he appeared. How is this possible? You know, there are 18 top experts in the universe, but under their watchful eyes, there are no. It is terrifying to discover the movement trajectory of the Great Priest. Chumo's face became frozen. Is this the strength of the top 5 powerhouses in the universe? It's really powerful, even with his current strength, it's not realistic to block 10 moves now. In this case, it can only be upgraded. Use God's Fire. 17. Chumo can only improve his strength first and then talk about other things. A second later, Chumo felt that his power in the realm of the gods had increased tenfold. The gap between the 6th and 5th layers of the realm of the gods is more than 10 times, and now he is fully able to control this super. Level Saiyan 5 energy up. Ah, ha. Chumo roared, the arrogance on his body turned silver, turned into starlight and rose to the sky, and his hair became silver, his eyes sharpened. Ah, ha. Becoming Super Saiyan 5 state, Chumo continued to shout, his momentum continued to skyrocket, and the realm of nothingness shook and was about to burst. But after a while, the powerful momentum became silent, and he became restrained and rose up for a while. Shenhua, like the ocean, makes people feel no breath, but they can feel the power of extreme power. Pressure. Even if it is as strong as the god of destruction, he is shocked by Chumo's coercion, and feels that his soul must surrender to Chumo. Under the pressure, Sun Wukong and others were even more unbearable, feeling that their souls were about to be shaken away. Fortunately, this coercion came and went quickly, and after a few seconds, the coercion disappeared. Only Chumo's red-silver figure was left in place, a red-silver arrogance lingered around him, his eyes. It also turned into red silver, as if there were no pupils. This guy, his strength has actually increased again, 10 times stronger than before. Minos muttered to himself. No, more than 10 times, at least 10 times. What's going on? How could he do it again in such a short time? Elevated. Rhadamanthus feels this is incredible. What the hell is going on here? However, this was not over yet. Chumo roared again, and a silver starlight shone on his body. Spread around the body. The perfect form of free will. After the 6th floor of God's realm, Chumo can stack Super Saiyan 5 with Super Saiyan and Zizai Jigong forms. Added together. At this time, the boundless world is like a world of lightning, and blue lightning is constantly slashing in the void of the boundless. The boundless momentum has affected the void of the boundless world, and there are continuous traces of space being torn apart by lightning in the distance. The colorful space tunnel and the terrifying space turbulence are revealed. Very strong, old lady, it is estimated that you are no longer Chumo's opponent. Weiss said seriously, his eyes showing a dignified look. Not stronger than me, why conquer me? Vados said with a smile. She once said that the person who can become her other half must be stronger than her, otherwise why would she conquer her? Fun kid. The great priest's eyes also became solemn, and even at the level of the great perfection of his god realm, he felt a trace of it. Urgent. Chumo was surrounded by blue lightning and flew to the opposite side of the great priest, and the invisible momentum of the two began to collide. Come. Zizizi. The ring, which was still intact after the book was finished, turned into a ruined appearance in an instant, and dropped dozens of meters in an instant. You must know that this is a ring arranged by the great priest according to his own strength, which is stronger than the previous power conference. Dozens of times. But it was also cut down by tens of meters, which shows that such energy has completely surpassed the previous strongest energy star. Moreover, the energy of Chumo and the great priest did not exceed the scope of the ring, affecting the boundless realm. It can be seen that the control of energy is very deep. Forget the great priest, after all, he has practiced for countless years. But for Chumo, it's only been a few decades. However, the control of energy has almost caught up with the level of the great priest, making Vados and Weiss wait for 12. The angel was startled. Cultivation to their level is no longer about the amount of energy. It is the understanding of energy, and controlling energy has become a required course for angels. Therefore, angels usually appear very relaxed and comfortable, as if they don't care about anything. But they are actually inadvertently practicing the control of energy, keeping themselves in a state of freedom all the time. The Yigong form is the best way to control energy. If the angels of the previous 12 universes were shocked by Chumo only because of his strong energy fluctuations, then now is the real recognition of Chumo. In terms of energy control, Chumo can completely compare with them. Chumo suddenly disappeared under everyone's eyes. The great priest sneered and disappeared. Where did you go? The god of destruction Ketra was shocked, and he couldn't see the figures of the great priest and Chumo clearly. Can't see it. Beerus is also, a helpless face, this is beyond their strength. Even the strongest angels, Weiss, Vados, Makalita, and Kes, barely saw Chumo. It's just the action of the great priest. I can't see the expressions on the faces of Mo and the great priest at all. Bang, bang, bang. One after another space ripples oscillated, and after a while, the sound came out. The voices kept coming, but only a few angels could see some figures, and it was very difficult to see their movements. Difficult. Brother, your first speed in the entire universe seems to be handed over to others. Father's speed is faster than yours. I don't know how much faster, even Chumo is faster than you. Vados giggled, hitting Whis. She is worse than Whis, but not as fast as Whis, and now she has finally found a chance to ridicule him. Chapter 210 The Realm of Nowhere was blown up. Chumo was very helpless at this time. He broke out the strongest power with all his strength, but it was still far inferior to the great priest. After 5 moves, he used 2 fists, but the great priest was only 1 finger. Even so, Chumo felt that his arm was about to be broken. It can't be like this anymore. Since it can't be like this, then come to Chuan Chao. Chumo directly transformed the state of Super Saiyan 5 into Chuan Chao, and the arrogance of red and silver began to change. Turned grass red. The breath began to become violent, as if people would be assimilated when they saw it. This kid. The ease of the great priest finally changed, and his eyes stared directly. After turning into a super free state, Chumo's body and speed increased several times. Bang! Chumo and the great priest who had disappeared appeared at the same time. Chumo's fist and the great priest's fist smashed hard. Rise! The powerful coercion forced the great priest to directly touch this with his fist. Because Chumo has sealed the space of people around him, even if he is as strong as a great priest, he feels that his movements are slow. It's a lot slower, and it's basically impossible to easily avoid this punch. How noble is the status of the great priest. Naturally I can't let Chumo was hit, so he had to use his fist to carry it back. Terrifying impact sound in the void of the boundless world, and then the turbulent flow of the void came from. The cracks in the space leaked out, cutting the dark void of the boundless world into countless colorful holes. It's as if the universe has been pierced through. What a terrible energy. If it goes on like this realm of nowhere will be destroyed. Big sister, what should I do? Vados looked at Kessie. Their current strength is not enough to maintain this boundless realm, so. Go down, the realm of nothingness is directly shattered, even their angels will be hurt a lot. Giggle, how do I know what to do? After so many years, this is the first time I see my dad punching. Kessie's eyes showed a smile, as if she was happy to see the great priest like this. And this kid's aura is full of violence. It is estimated that he will be difficult to control at this time. Chuan Cheasai. The demihumans get stronger and stronger, but as their strength increases, they become more and more difficult to control. Otherwise, the original Yamozi. I won't betray Lord Quanwang again. Kessie seems to know a lot of secrets, and she is very clear about Chumo's current state. Indeed, it is also the current status of Chumo. He feels that the power of the Super Saiyan surpasses that of the Super Saiyan 5. After that, it became increasingly difficult for him to control the power of this violent house. He has only one feeling now: kill, kill, kill. The great priest also seemed to have already discovered what was wrong with Chumo, and began to press him over to fight. Bang! 7th move. Chumo's body flew out, a bloody arrow spewed out, and his breath instantly became numb, and he was severely injured. However, with the SSS level of immortality, Chumo, and the characteristics of the Super Saiyan, Chumo has not been in a year. Arrived, recovered again. And the breath is soaring again. He used Super Dragon Ball to wish for immortality. The eyes of the great priest suddenly burst out with killing intent. Using the Super Dragon Ball to make a wish of immortality, it will eventually become the puppet of the dragon god Salama. As a great priest, he would never allow such a thing to happen. Chumo seemed to sense the killing intent of the great priest, and became even more violent. The bright green arrogance on his body suddenly pressed down. After surpassing the crimson energy of Chao Sai God, even the form of ZZG Gong seems to be a little unstable. The state of mind could not be maintained, and Chumo seemed to lose that ethereal state. No, absolutely can't be controlled by force, can't be like Brawly. Chumo roared in his heart. If he wants to change, he can only vent these powers. So Chumo's speed accelerated again, and the red arrogance skyrocketed again, merging with the bright green arrogance. When he got up, his eyes regained some clarity. This kid is quite capable and wants to use me as a stepping stone. The great priest suddenly felt that Chumo was very interesting, and his killing intent was slightly reduced. Bang, bang, bang. 8th move. Chumo's figure shot back and spit out a mouthful of blood again, but it recovered in an instant. Well, it doesn't seem to be the undead body of the dragon god. However, the strength is similar. Interesting. The great priest knows that although Chumo's undead body is similar to that of Super Dragon Ball's wish, however, it does not have the breath of the dragon god Salama, and will not be controlled by the dragon god Salama. Killing intent, slightly reduced again. And, he already has some new plans. Chumo's consciousness became clearer and clearer, and he felt that he could almost completely control this power. Already control 80%. Boom. Ninth move. Chumo hit the fist of the great priest with a fist, and the figure shot back tens of thousands of kilometers, stepping on the void under his feet. After stepping out a space ripple, it stopped. It's such a cool feeling. I have 100% control of this power. Chumo was overjoyed, and at the same time was very grateful to the great priest. If he hadn't stood and fought with him, he would have only. It will become more and more violent, and in the end, it will not be able to vent this power, and become like Brawly and lose self-awareness. 10th move. Great Priest. Chumo roared, and the figure instantly traveled tens of thousands of kilometers and came to the great priest. This punch has surpassed the strongest power of the 7th layer of the Realm of God, and has reached the level of the 8th layer of the Realm of God. With a punch, the void of the boundless world underwent a dramatic change, and a stream of grass-red airflow instantly filled up the whole boundless realm. In these air currents, full of divine breath, there is no of silk fury. Hey, he can actually control these forces. Kessie suddenly found that Chumo's breath had returned to peace, and suddenly felt suspicious. No Saiyans have ever been able to reach this level, even those first-generation Saiyans are at this level. The power sank. She didn't expect that Chumo actually did it. With such a powerful force, even she was a little inferior. You know, Kessie is the first angel under the great priest, and she feels that she is a little inferior. One can imagine how strong Chumo is at this time. Kessie suddenly felt that she should know more about this Chumo. What is he like? People. Come on, Chumoling. The great priest said indifferently, followed by a punch. Boom. The two fists collided, the violent energy was vented, and the realm of nowhere collapsed instantly. Chapter 211 Great Priest. I want to mention a kiss. Chumo's body shot back tens of thousands of meters away, but a smile appeared on his face. Because the great priest also took a few steps back. A deep footprint appeared on the hard ring, and it was the figure of the great priest who couldn't control it. Nani. All the gods of destruction were stunned. They have seen this situation for so many years. The high priest was beaten back. What is this situation? Not only the gods of destruction, but even the angels like Weiss, Vados, and Kes were confused. The father leave. Repulsed by Chumo. This is impossible. Is it a dream now? Vados knocked Weiss, head with a scepter. Dwang. Sister, what are you doing? It hurts. Weiss looked innocent. It had nothing to do with him. It's okay, just see if you're dreaming now. Since you feel pain, it's not a dream. Vados smiled. It's nice to have the feeling of being bullied by my brother. Chumo's strength once again shocked everyone. However, relatively speaking, Sun Wukong, Jiren, hidden other players are not so shocking. The strength of the priest is not much less than 180 solutions. If you know that for hundreds of millions of years, no one has been able to defeat the great priest one step. I am afraid that they are more shocked than the angels and gods of destruction. This is not just a little strength. Come again. Although the 10 moves have passed, Chumo is more and more excited. The great priest seemed to be interested too, and hooked his palm to Chumo, signaling him to let the horse come over. He is already more interested in Chumo. Hey! Chumo's speed suddenly accelerated, like a teleportation, appearing directly in front of the great priest. The fist slammed away quickly. The great priest also chuckled and stretched out his hand. Boom! The next second, Chumo's fist slammed directly into the palm of the great priest, and the powerful fist pressure instantly hit the great priest's palm. Obliterated in the palm. As if blasted into another space, then disappeared. This is to directly transmit power to another dimension. Chumo was greatly surprised. The situation was very strange, similar to the bear in the sixth universe. However, the great priest is more than 1,000,000 times stronger than that bear. At least, Chumo couldn't feel the breath of the different space at all. Whether it was transmitted to another dimension is just Chumo's speculation. Thinking of this, Chumo swept his face again. Boom. Big thunder, little rain. Powerful energy, gone again. Chumo couldn't feel where his energy was going, it was so weird. Moreover, the power of the blast has also disappeared, and he was able to push back the great priest a few steps before. Now it doesn't move. Chumo was a little annoyed, and a powerful lightsaber in his hand was directly transformed, and then directly slashed at the great priest. Shish. Chumo kept waving the energy lightsaber, but it just flashed beside the great priest without touching it at all. Touch feeling. He could feel that the great priest did not move at all, but was too fast, far faster than him, so he couldn't feel the figure of the great priest. However, the energy lightsaber was not absorbed this time. It seems that this is because the energy condensed by the energy lightsaber is stronger. Strong, so no absorption. Thinking of this, Chumo became concerned, and his hands waved wildly. Shish. For a while, Chumo's figure kept flying up and down, left and right, and finally the whole sky was full of Chumo's body. Shadow, as if each one is real. In fact, even Beerus couldn't tell which figure was the real Chumo. Weiss didn't eat pork knuckles anymore. The seriousness of his face, such a wonderful battle, was worth learning from him. 1 minute. 5 minutes. Minutes. Chumo's energy seemed to be endless, and he continued to attack violently. Gradually, the great priest began to move by 1 step. The grand priest took a step back. Whis and other angels were also shocked in their hearts. 2 steps. All the angels startled again. 3 steps. 4 steps. 10 steps. After taking 10 steps back, the great priest stopped and stepped back, holding Chumo's lightsaber tightly between his fingers. Was still a smile on his face, and he said lightly, "Okay, let's stop here. If we fight again, I will be firm. I can't hold it anymore. With your current strength, the entire universe can beat you, no more than 5. The meaning of the great priest has been very clear. After the fight, he can't control the power, and then it will be true. A real fight. But there are no more than 5 in the entire universe that can make the great priests fight with all their strength. Chumo can do this. Step, now enough to be proud. The first person under the great priest can change hands. In Kes' eyes. It is unbelievable that a Saiyan who has only practiced for a few decades has more strength than her. She was very upset and felt that if she had a chance, she must compete with Chumo once. Chumo looked at the great priest, and then took the lightsaber back. He is also very satisfied with his own strength. It is good to be able to surpass Weiss and the others. He needs to eat 1 bite at a time. He has only cultivated for such a short time, and he has the system to cultivate to this level so quickly. What is there to be dissatisfied with? As for the top 5, he still has a lot of time to catch up. Okay, if you have any request, say it. I promise you. The Grand Priest returned to King Quan with his hands behind his back, and nodded. King Quan looked very excited. It was the first time he had seen such a powerful shot from a great priest. And the battle scene is amazing. Chumo breathed a sigh of relief, and released Chuan Chao and Zizai Ji Gong forms, leaving only the Chao Sai God form. Since the great priest said so, then he doesn't need to be polite. He first gave number 18 a comforting look, and then landed on the ring. Your Majesty, I want to propose a marriage to your 3 daughters. I hope to marry Vados, Kes, Ma. Kurita, 3 beautiful angels. Chumo tidied up his clothes and said something shocking. I'll go. Damn it, awesome. All the gods of destruction are stunned. All the angels are stunned. Sun Wukong and other 12 universe players were stunned. Minos and Radamantis were stunned, then looked at Chumo with admiration. Sure enough, awesome people dare to do awesome things. Wanting to propose a marriage to a great priest, this is the first person in hundreds of millions of years. And 1 times 3. Damn, so brave. At this moment, all the males are convinced of Chumo. At least they wouldn't dare say that. Network. Remember me. Chapter 212, Angel Bloodline. The great priest was stunned. This kid, what I just said was pro. He couldn't believe his ears, and looked at Chumo's position again. It wasn't until I saw Chumo's serious expression that I knew that this kid was not shaking himself. Then the Grand Priest looked at the 3 daughter angels, Vados, Kes, and Makalita, and found that the 3 daughters were. Love is different. Vados was a little shy, and his face was a little flushed, as if he was a little happy. And Kessie was also expressionless, neither happy nor angry, as if it had nothing to do with her. As for Makarita, she was reluctant. She felt that although Chumo had obtained a godhead, he was still worthy of. She is not an angel, so she is not happy. Looking at the expressions of the 3 girls, the great priest was a little curious, but in the end he didn't say anything. Then he looked at Chumo and said, I don't object to your request, but I don't agree with it either. You have to pursue them. It's your business, I don't mind if it succeeds. After finishing speaking, the great priest turned around and returned to King Quan, and then ignored Chumo with an expression on his face. Chumo was slumped, but he was happy, as long as he was not destroyed by the great priest anyway. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the sign-in task of proposing marriage to the great priest, and getting the sign-in gift package. Do you want to call immediately? Open a sign-in package. The system's voice sounded in Chumo's mind at the right time, which made Chumo couldn't help but be overjoyed. Turn it on now. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully opening the sign-in package. Obtaining the blood of an angel, the lifespan is beyond the form of the universe, and the whole. The king was unable to clear the host. And the host can designate 5 human beings with angel blood, and the whole king has no. Law clear. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the full set of Dragon Ball magic. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the fire of God. It is another god's fire, which makes Chumo happy for a while. If his strength increases once, he will believe in his own. The strength is enough to reach about 80% of the great priest. Kessie flew directly to the ring, hovering opposite Chumo, staring at Chumo without any shyness. Vados and Makarita also flew over, and the 3 female angels looked at Chumo at the same time. Chumo looked back bluntly. See how you guys are, aren't you an angel, and a warm bed is suitable. 18 also flew up over there, and now Chumo is beside him, looking very gentle. However, in the mainland, he picked up a small piece of meat on Chumo's waist, then rotated 180, then 36. 0. Chumo broke into a cold sweat, thinking that the 18th would not be jealous, but after adding 3 this time, it was directly tasted. However, for the sake of the man's face, Chumo still pretended to be nothing, and then put his arms around number 18. Take comfort. After all, it was his first woman, so he naturally wanted to comfort him. No, 18 demonstratively looked at the 3 female angels, as if declaring their sovereignty. Then he raised his chest. This is one of Chumo's favorites. Then Kes lowered her head in an inferior way, and Vados and Margarita also raised their chests. Now it's the battle of the female creatures. An invisible battle has unfolded among the 3 female creatures. At this moment, the gods of destruction suddenly felt that this bliss was not so enjoyable. After a while, Chumo saw that the high priest and Weiss had come out to relieve the field, so he had to cough a few times, and then stood up. Come out. I wonder how the three beautiful angel sisters feel. Chumo said with a smile. My sisters are all young. According to the real age, they are all grandmas. I don't know how old it is. However, this is the world of Dragon Ball, and the lifespan of angels is calculated in billions of years. 3 months later, if you can beat me, talk about it then. Kessie said coldly and flew back to the stand of Universe 10. Makalita's eyes lit up. She was a little upset at first, but in front of the powerhouses of the 12 universes, she was stunned. People propose marriage. She was disdainful at first, and then panicked. After all, Chumo is also a super strong, it seems that enough. This qualification. She also said, when you can beat Sister Kes, talk about it. After speaking, sticking out his tongue, he flew directly back to the stand of Universe 11, ignoring the delicious, resentment, look. It seems that my master has been soaked away. A faint sadness flooded into Wei Meida's heart, but there was nothing he could do about it. Ask for flowers. He can't beat Chumo. But Vados looked at Chumo shyly, and then said mischievously, if you can let me see that every day. Beautiful muscles, and then give me good food, I can think about it. Muscle. Oh, the Super Saiyan state, right. Chumo was stunned, but he didn't expect that Vados actually likes muscular men. As for making delicious food, he doesn't mind, this seems to be one of his specialties. No problem. Chumo walked over and hugged the beautiful female angel, that's it. Then he turned around and said suddenly, King Quan, great priest, oh, no, my father-in-law. Anyway, the great power of. It's over, why don't we hold a grand banquet? Banquet. When King Quan heard that there was something to eat, he was overjoyed. In his opinion, this Sprite with spicy strips is already the most delicious food in the universe. Now, it seems that there are more goodies. He immediately clapped his palms and shouted, okay. Then please Chumo. All the kings agreed, and the great priest had no objection. For Chumo's father-in-law, he has no opinion. Anyway, Vados has fallen. Not bad for calling. Seeing that the Grand Priest and King Quan agreed to hold a banquet, everyone in the 12 universes was overjoyed. Especially the 12 gods of destruction and angels, they all knew that the delicacies they ate before came from the earth. And Chumo is one of the spokespersons of these delicacies. Since Chumo said he was going to hold a banquet, he would definitely cook. Immediately made them look forward to it. Moreover, everyone and nerves also need to relax after this power conference. This banquet undoubtedly makes them very happy. Joyous. Soon Chumo took out an all-purpose capsule, and with a bang sound, a huge kitchen appeared inlay. The center of the table is filled with various ingredients. Then Chumo put on the chef's cape himself, with a high, spirited look, and then walked over on the 18th, picked up. Bulma and Kiki also walked up. This time, the 4 of them will prepare the food for this banquet. Corpse. Thank you for visiting 5G Small. Chapter 213 Bringing Food to the Universe. Sun Wukong, what is this? Jiren pointed to a barbecue grill and asked. The aroma of some meat on it kept him going. Saliva. Several huskies in Universe 9 have long been squatting, staring blankly, with the barbecue in front. I'm afraid that now Chumo will ask them to do a few striptease dances, and they are very well behaved. The barbecue here is naturally handed over to Bulma, and Sun Wufan, Piccolo, and Tianjin Fan are assisting. Watching Tianjin rice, several people skillfully sprinkled various seasonings, such as cumin powder, 5-spice powder, spicy powder, salt and pepper, raw, smoked, oyster sauce. Bursts of fragrance permeated the entire venue. The ring has now become a banquet stage. The 4 of them suddenly became the god of cooking in everyone's eyes, and they all looked at the Tianjin fans with admiration. If 950 can invite these chefs to their universe, they must be happy. King Quan is now eating with his mouth open, chicken wings in his left hand and chicken wings in his right. The great priest also let go of his image, grabbed a roasted corn and ate it. It looked like a lifetime. I've never eaten so good. Beerus, what kind of meat is this? Rat meat, my favorite food. Bipus glanced at Keitra, said lightly, and then ate the roasted bamboo rat in front of him in one bite. Nani? Keitra was furious when she heard the word, rat meat. Is this guy trying to eat him? Fight Beerus immediately. However, neither of the two gods used any power, and only used the power of ordinary people to fight. In the end, they both fell down, and then Keitra also joined the team of eating the roasted bamboo rat. No way, this is too delicious, no matter what kind of rat, it's delicious. The barbecue was crowded with people, and Chumo was also crowded with people. Watching the spatula in Chumo's hand keep flipping up and down, all the beautiful delicacies appeared on the table. Taigong Wong braised chicken. Boiled pork slices, fish-flavored shredded pork, double-cooked pork, salt-fried pork, kung pao chicken, dried eel slices, spicy chicken. Spicy sausage, mapo tofu, boiled fish, pickled pepper shredded pork. Boiled chicken, roast goose, roast suckling pig, braised suckling pigeon, honey sauce barbecue pork, stir-fried lobster in soup, steamed grouper. I.e. abalone, liao ginseng with abalone sauce, boiled shrimp, bird's nest with rock sugar in coconut sauce, braised shark's fin with vegetable gallbladder. Longjing shrimp, West Lake cabbage, shrimp fried eel back, West Lake vinegar fish. Chumo will do everything, and take it all out. But these guys are big foodies, how can this be enough? Helpless, Chumo had no choice but to transform into a super transcendent state, dividing into dozens of them, constantly stirring up and down. In the end, I simply made all the Manchu and Han banquets out, and they were full of weight. Then Chumo took out thousands of boxes of Red Star Erguotu and let everyone eat it. Under the charm of Red Star Erguotu, Beerus and Keitra became the best brothers, and sang, brother, together. OK 666. Finally, with a pop, the two gods of destruction lay down and fell asleep, without any use of divine power. Body blow bottle. And it was the Red Star Erguotu. The two gods drank hundreds of bottles, and finally fell down together. Jiren and Hit also swayed their cold images. They kept blowing bottles with Monkey King and Vegeta, and the four of them did it. Thousands of bottles of Red Star Erguotu. In the end, Jiren tapped his tongue and said, to give birth to Ikong, Sun Wukong, I will go to the 10th place in the future. Universe, I will definitely bring you delicious and spicy food. This meal is worth it. Before he could finish speaking, Jiren stumbled to the ground, leaving only a snoring sound. Sun Wukong can't do it anymore. The soles of his feet slipped. He pointed at Jillian and laughed. You can't do it, hee hee. I'll pay. Bulma, you first lend me some money, I'll be counted. After speaking, he also fell on Jillian and fell asleep. Cut, just as far as your alcohol intake is concerned, I would also like to follow. Vegeta staggered over like a drunken fist, and said to Hit. Hit, how was the banquet? Come later, come to Earth, I will treat you to a feast. There are even better ones. Vegeta patted her chest. That's it, this wine is really strong. It must be strong next time. Drink this. Hit's face was flushed, and the image of a cold killer was long gone. The gods of destruction have no image now, a glass of wine and a dish, and you can enjoy eating. The angels also put down their images, ate, and soon joined the ranks of drinking, all followed. Learn to guess the boxing orders with Chumo. For a time, this special venue was only full of guessing voices, which made Chumo stunned. Your sister, these guys are crazy about drinking. However, Chumo didn't get much better. He blew the bottle with the great priest. 2 for you, 1 for me, 1 for me. 10 bottles for you, 10 for me. Then, Chumo guessed fists with the Grand Priest again, and by the end of the drink, the Grand Priest was also drunk. He didn't use his divine power to dispel the alcoholism, and it was rare to enjoy the taste of drunkenness. Finally, under the gaze of several female angels such as Vados and Kessie, the Great Priest and Chumo hooked up on their shoulders and shook their heads. Shaking and walking, then the Great Priest took Chumo's hand and was about to swoop. This scene was so funny that it almost made Vados and the others laugh to death. Unexpectedly, the father of the Great Priest, who has always been serious, would have such a funny time. Several female creatures are not so carnival, but women eat like war, Bulma and Kiki on the 18th. 3 female angels such as Vados and 4.6 could not raise their heads. Finally, on the women's side, the silent battle degree embarrassed Weiss. He can eat, but helping to quarrel is not what he is good at. The robots in the third universe are even more funny, constantly analyzing the ingredients of the Red Star Urguotu, wanting to put this fine wine in the third universe brewing. But because the two universes are different, many materials are also different. And the brewing method is different, even if there are materials, they can't imitate it. In the end it ended in failure. Everyone was satisfied at this banquet, and it also allowed the Earth of the 7th universe to officially fight in the remaining 11 universes. Fame. It is also for the gathering of 12 universes every 5 years in the future to hold this whole universe. The food competition has laid the foundation. Chapter 214 God of Cooking, Chumo. This banquet was eaten for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, the hundreds of thousands of tons of ingredients brought by Chumo were all eaten up. Just ended. This is the ration that Chumo has prepared for a long time, but it was eaten by the masters of the whole universe with less than 200 people. Net. The food prestige of the 7th universe has also become famous. And Chumo is undoubtedly the one who makes the most profit. The god of food is well known, and the 12 universes are not dissatisfied. It has also gained a lot of fans, which is really a surprise. For the Great Priest, he directly took away Chumo's set of kitchen utensils, euphemistically saying, "This is a betrothal gift." Kessie and Makalita, who were still stubborn, also changed their minds on Chumo, a man who can make such delicious food. Must be a man of men. In the end, Kessie agreed that she would go to Earth to fight Chumo a month later. If he can beat herself, then she is willing to marry Chumo. Makalita also looked at Chumo shyly, and was conquered by Chumo's cooking skills. 18 They all say that to conquer a beautiful woman, you must conquer her stomach first. This sentence is very reasonable. Even the gods of destruction who were hostile to Chumo stopped talking. Under the guidance of Chumo's food and countless snacks, everyone was silent. Even Wei Maida, who was still nostalgic for Makarita at the beginning, was willing to bow down to Mapo Tofu, and put it down. A master who has accompanied him for hundreds of millions of years has abandoned him. Eat and drink, go home. The funniest was the Great Priest, who had no momentum at all, carrying the so-called artifact for cooking vegetables and went back with King Quan. According to him, this set of artifacts is precious and cannot be stored in a different dimension so easily. Back in the 7th universe, Chumo immediately gave the 2 number 18s and Chu Shuexin the blood of an angel, making her. They can live forever. But after more than a month of trying, Chumo also figured out the role of this angel's bloodline. It can make Chumo and the others have the cultivation talent of angels, and they can comprehend various laws of the universe. For example, Chumo had the power of time and space before, and now he has officially understood the laws of time and space. However, this ability is not too strong, and the time is similar to that of Weiss, which is about 3 minutes of reversal. The law of space, on the other hand, is that you can travel freely between universes, and you don't need to fly, slowly, in the space tunnel. On the other hand, number 18 understood the law of water. As long as there is water, no matter what kind of injury he suffers, he can instantly recovery in time. 18th in the future, it is different. Comprehension is actually the law of fire. Chu Shuexin is also the law of water, like a little fairy. Moreover, the angel bloodline given by the system does not have the restrictions of Weiss and the others, such as interfering in the world. Things will be cleared by the rules of the universe. Chumo and the others can completely ignore this rule. A month after returning to Earth, Kes, Vados, and Makarita came together. All three of them are angels. Kes and Makarita were taken aback, especially the two 18s. They were identical, like twins. 18 at the Power Conference, but she didn't have angel blood at that time. Why now suddenly there are angel bloodlines, and there are three? They can fully feel the pure angel blood flowing in the body of the three people on the 18th, if not for them. The number of envoys is not too large, and they all think that the three people on the 18th belong to their family. At this time, the time and space imprints of the future 18th and Chu Shuexin have been covered by the blood of the angels, so there is no need to worry. Besides, these three beautiful angels are almost their own, so it doesn't matter. Let's go to Bishops to solve it. This time, let you go directly to the house and come to see your two sisters. ! Chu Mo jokingly said. In the endless destruction god realm, the destruction god Beps is sitting on a swing, rocking back and forth. Holding a large bowl of beef brisket noodles in his hand, he was eating, swish, swish. Not far away, Shanka watched pitifully with a finger in his mouth. Hey, brother, give me something to eat too. Who's your brother? I'm not familiar with you, don't disturb me to eat. If you want to eat, you won't go by yourself. Find Vados or... Virus gave Shanka a contemptuous glance. What a shame. Elephant Paba snorted and swallowed, his stomach rumbling, but Vados doesn't give it at all. I ate and she said I was too fat. Moreover, she is looking for Chumo now, and I will not have a full-time chef in the future. Well, I'm so poor. HMPH, then you're looking for another chef. Don't you also have Earth in the sixth universe? Bishops looked at him coldly. Shanka laughed, and shamelessly moved his body, clicked, didn't I come to you? Otherwise, give me this bowl. Brother, I have been a brother for so many years, please help me. Saying that, Shanka cried with snot and tears. All the snot and tears will be wiped on Beerus's body, he is very bitter, he has not eaten delicious food for a long time. It's a shame, get away from me. Beerus had blue veins on his forehead, lifted the brisket directly, and then kicked Shanka like a ball. Fly away. On the lake not far away, Weiss, Vados, Maka 960 Rita and others sat on the ground, surrounded by melons. Subs and drinks. Vados took a sip of the fragrant tea, the rich aroma spread in his mouth, and glanced at being kicked by bisons. Going to Shanka, Vados narrowed his eyes lightly. Sister, you look as pitiful as Mr. Pa, you won't give him something to eat. Weiss laughed. No need, this is the punishment for Master Pa, he is so outrageous, the sixth universe is almost because of him. Ruined by laziness. Weiss shrugged, the punishment wasn't too much. By the way, old lady, do you think the future brother-in-law Chumo can win the elder sister of Cassie? Weiss asked suddenly. What future brother-in-law, just call him brother-in-law. It's better if she and Margarita don't marry. I'll just marry. Vados looked at Margarita unhappily. HMPH, you're so rare, I'm going to marry you. I'm mad at you. Margarita made a face. She and Vados are about the same age. From ancient times to the present, they often have to argue about something. Humph, shameless. Just as the three brothers and sisters of Weiss were leisurely enjoying the peaceful days, a cluster of soft rays of light flickered. I saw Chumo teleported over with number 18 and Chu Shuexin. Chapter 215 Beerus was molested. Seeing Chumo's arrival, Vados and Weiss got up quickly, and Margarita looked at Chumo reluctantly. Weiss greeted Chumo and the others, and when his eyes swept across Chu Shuexin, he was suddenly stunned. To be precise, Weiss was attracted by a strange creature in Chu Schwexen's hands. It was a creature that didn't know if it was a cat or a dog. The head cover is slightly narrow, the face is slender, and the two eye bags are slightly raised. This. Weiss was shocked. This, I found it on the earth, it seems to be called the Cornys Rex cat, you see, isn't it? Similar to Beerus. Although Chu Schwexen came to destroy the star for the first time, she had no intention of being afraid at all. The cat's two front feet swung in midair. Weiss froze for a moment, with a look of tears and laughter on his face. This girl really doesn't think it's a big deal, she actually came to Destruction Star with such a pet. Especially in front of Beerus, the god of destruction, her courage is so fat. Ain't you afraid of being beaten? The premise is that Beerus Sama dares to beat her. Huh. A stream of light streaks across the sky of Destruction God, and I only feel that the figure of Destruction God Bizons flashes before my eyes. Now they are in front of Chumo. Seeing the Koenigs Rex cat in Chu Schwexen's hands, Beerus' face darkened, and he said sternly. Where did your cat come from? Why don't you get rid of it quickly? Chu Schwexen laughed and handed the Koenigs Rex cat to Beerus. Said, Cat God, look, this cat looks exactly like you, I found it specially. Cluck. Bizons only felt that the blue veins on the top of his head suddenly burst out, his pupils flashed golden lights, and his body was scattered. Send out a cold air. But he quickly recovered. If you weren't Chumo's daughter, I would have been destroyed. Destroyed, and threw her and smashed her to pieces. Hey, old Chu, you should discipline your daughter well. Beerus yelled. Hearing this, Chumo shrugged and said, she is so old, I can't control her. Otherwise, you. Help me manage. Cut, don't come, she's not my candidate for a trainee god of destruction. Beerus directly refused. Chumo actually meant to make his daughter the next god of destruction. Think beautiful. Chapter 215 Beerus was molested. Second, please subscribe. Seeing Chumo's arrival, Vados and Weiss got up quickly, and Margarita looked at Chumo reluctantly. Weiss greeted Chumo and the others, and when his eyes swept across Chu Schwexen, he was suddenly stunned. To be precise, Weiss was attracted by a strange creature in Chu Schwexen's hands. It was a creature that didn't know if it was a cat or a dog. The head cover is slightly narrow, the face is slender, and the two eye bags are slightly raised. This. Weiss was shocked. This, I found it on the earth, it seems to be called the Koenigs Rex cat, you see, isn't it? Similar to Beerus. Although Chu Schwexen came to destroy the star for the first time, she had no intention of being afraid at all. The cat's two front feet swung in midair. Weiss froze for a moment, with a look of tears and laughter on his face. This girl really doesn't think it's a big deal, she actually came to Destruction Star with such a pet. Especially in front of Beerus, the god of destruction, her courage is so fat. Ain't you afraid of being beaten? The premise is that Beerus Sama dares to beat her. Huh. A stream of light streaks across the sky of Destruction God, and I only feel that the figure of Destruction God Bizons flashes before my eyes. Now they are in front of Chumo. Seeing the Koenigs Rex cat in Chu Schwexen's hands, Beerus' face darkened, and he said sternly. Where did your cat come from? Why don't you get rid of it quickly? Chu Schwexen laughed and handed the Koenigs Rex cat to Beerus. Said, Cat God, look, this cat looks exactly like you, I found it specially. Cluck. Bizons only felt that the blue veins on the top of his head suddenly burst out, his pupils flashed golden lights, and his body was scattered. Send out a cold air. But he quickly recovered. If you weren't Chumo's daughter, I would have been destroyed. Destroyed, and threw her and smashed her to pieces. Hey, old Chu, you should discipline your daughter well. Beerus yelled. Hearing this, Chumo shrugged and said, she is so old, I can't control her. Otherwise, you. Help me manage. Cut, don't come, she's not my candidate for a trainee god of destruction. Beerus directly refused. Chumo actually meant to make his daughter the next god of destruction. Think beautiful. Hey, Chumo, let's get started. I'm going to beat you. Kessie watched over there for a long time, feeling that Chumo was still chatting, and was immediately upset. Didn't he say he wanted her? Why didn't he come to fight? Well, I almost forgot about this female fighting maniac. Chumo didn't expect that there is such a wonderful person in this angel who actually likes fighting since he was a child. Nomads. No wonder the strength is the strongest of all angels. However, the words have already been said, and the parents have already mentioned it, and Chumo will never go back on it. A manly man, you can't go back on anything you say. You have to do what you have said, even with tears in your eyes. Besides, although it is a little smaller, this is also a beautiful woman, and the bed warmer is good. Chumo smiled lightly and flew to the lake. Looking at Chris. Beerus took a bite of the roasted dinosaur leg, his eyes only staring at Chumo and Kessie, the strength of the angel level. Fighting is not a common nephew. To be honest, Chumo did not dare to underestimate Kessie. Kessie's current strength surpassed that of Wes. But looking at it differently, for Chumo, this power is still not enough. Come on. Chumo said calmly, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and his hair started to rise. Chapter 216 The Battle with the Ninth Floor of the Realm of Gods. As the energy of Super Saiyan 5 was released, a terrifyingly strong hurricane rolled around him. Boom, sounded like a hole in the sky, and the overwhelming pressure suddenly came. You integrated the super race god into the normal. It's really amazing. Kessie was slightly taken aback when she saw this. Being able to change the state of the gods, this proves that Chumo is already like their angels, and can control these. Energy up. This is a lot more proficient when compared to the competition. This is a huge leap. Being able to become a god is one thing, being able to use your god energy in a normal state. Show it. This is exactly what makes him a superpower. However, Kessie and the others never imagined that this was because Chumo had integrated the angel blood into the normal state. Otherwise, it will take him at least 10 or 8 years to truly achieve this step. This is also one of the natural advantages of angels. However, Kessie's face became even more excited. The stronger the opponent is now, when the battle is over, she will. Perception is more obvious. Exactly what she wanted. So without hesitation, K863C completely let go of his hands and feet. The power of domineering and resolute also boomed a sound. Splash out. In an instant, the entire destruction god star became unstable, and the entire god star seemed to be in the ocean. What is even more terrifying is that the aftermath affects the surrounding tens of billions of kilometers away. The dark starry sky is silver and white. Wow, these two forces are amazing. Feeling the coercion conveyed by the energies of both sides, Vados's beautiful eyes flowed, excited. Unbelievable, Sister Kessie's strength is already so strong, and it's time to break through the ninth floor of the realm of God. Marguerite aside, as a veteran angel, her strength is already the 8th level of the realm of God, since. Of course, I can feel that Kessie's power at this moment has surpassed himself by too much. Weiss also slowly floated in the air, looking at a distance, staring with a pair of eyes, and said, but from the comparison of group energy, brother-in-law's power is even more amazing. I feel that the entire destruction god realm is shaking violently. Move. Vados nodded. Indeed, Chumo's power is amazing. At this time, Chu Shuexin flew over Ba, and raised her head happily when she heard Vados' praise for her father. Very proud. Of course, Dad is the best. Whether it's out of worship or reality, Chumo's position in Chu Shuexin's heart is unrivaled. Replaced. For Chu Shuexin's speech, both Weiss and Vados nodded in agreement. Chumo's strength has now. It can be said that it is the best in the entire universe, only under the entire king and the great priest. On the other side, the battle has already begun. As the momentum of the two rose to the top, they turned into a streamer and went towards each other. Oh! Looking at the opponent who was not far away with a dazzling light shining like the sun, Chumo squinted slightly and sighed softly. Kessie's strength is absolutely shocking, if it is someone else, even a god of destruction like Beerus. I'm afraid I can't get close to her. The fiery flames and the coercion that seems to be pressing on the heart are enough to block the enemy from a long distance away. But for Chumo, it seems that it is still not enough. He is now in the state of God, and under the full energy of Super Saiyan 5, his strength is even stronger. Big. Chumo looked at Kessie with a flat face. The distance of several kilometers from each other was approaching in an instant, ignoring Kessie's whole body. The fierce aura came out. Chumo appeared in front of Kessie lightly, and then punched in an extremely ordinary way. That punch was very slow, and it didn't seem to be very powerful, but it seemed to be filled with everyone's constraints. Dreamy feeling. The road is simple, which is roughly what it means. Awesome. This is the law of space. Kessie pouted. She felt very uncomfortable, but Chumo actually caught up again. Although she had understood the laws of space hundreds of millions of years ago, she was only at the same level as Chumo. Facing Chumo's attack, she suddenly felt as if she had returned to the ancient times, when she faced many dark demon worlds. The devil, she also fought hard. Boom! The flames pierced, Kessie groaned, and the whole person flew out quickly, leaving behind a long ray. One trick. It was just a punch, and Kessie really understood what it means to crush. She had already broken through to the 9th level of the realm of the gods a few days ago, but she did not expect that she was not an opponent. But she didn't expect that Chumo actually broke through again, and it was already the 7th floor of the realm of God, plus the Super Saiyan 5 is no worse than the 9th level of her god realm. Saiyans are scary. No wonder the original Saiyans would betray the king. With such a powerful energy, coupled with the inherently evil personality of Saiyans, it is strange that they will continue to succumb to people. Unbelievable. Is this guy a monster? Progress so fast. Medium. Kessie's expression was a little dazed, and she looked at Chumo complicatedly. However, that's the fun. Well, come on. Chris shouted that this was the fight she was expecting. Even if she loses, it will be unexpectedly helpful to her. Kessie fell into a state of excitement, returned to the original position with a huh, and then exerted all her strength to fight with her. Chumo fights. Of course, Chumo couldn't release the water. In the face of Kessie's constant greetings, he received all of them in one move. Down. Then. Bang bang bang, throwing several punches one after another. Bang. 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 The sound kept ringing, and the sky was shaking like a dull thunder. In a short time, Destruction God became cratered, and countless large pieces of earth and rocks were shot from the ground into the air. And then collapsed suddenly. This is also the result of Weiss, Vados, and Makarita building a barrier to protect Destroyer Star. Otherwise, Bep's home would have been bombed long ago. However, at this time, impact craters with a size of 100 meters continued to appear on the surface of Shengxing. Several impact craters are continuously superimposed, blasting out bottomless cracks. The battle between Chumo and Kessie is getting faster and faster, and the scope is getting wider and wider. The vast space of Destruction God realm. There, countless tiny stars deviated from their orbits, or were directly bombarded by the energy waves generated by the battle. Smash. Boom. 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 Chapter 217 Wedding with an Angel. Countless stars were destroyed, and the space on the edge of the God realm began to stir. As a God realm with a high level of the realm of the gods, the space to destroy the God realm is 100 times stronger. In a series of wonderful battles, Kessie almost did everything she could, but Chumo was confused from the beginning to the end. The wind was light, and there was no chaotic place in the movement. Click. Chumo stepped on the ground, and the strong force swept up a gust of wind, and the whole person jumped like lightning. Then, Before Kes could react, he came behind her and grabbed one of her arms in the void. After turning around a few times, he slammed it towards a star in the distance. Boom! The earth cracked, and a planet was immediately torn apart. Weiss looked at it and smiled bitterly. This time, the planets in the god realm are completely destroyed. Alas, why Tilda suffer? It's always me. What are you shivering? Don't hurry up and use time to reverse, turn. Beerus rolled his eyes angrily. Weiss, time law can't restore Chumo and Sister Kessie's heads together, but they can. The destroyed planet is restored by the law of time. Although Beerus himself sometimes destroys some planets that destroy the realm of the gods, he is so. It got smooth all of a sudden. To be honest, it made him sad. This is such a demolition. Bang! Kessie was judged from the cracked stone, and fell back to the god of destruction with Chumo in a daze. Noodle. Looking at Chumo with a complicated expression, Kessie shook her head and admitted defeat. I lost, compared to the power conference. Wait, your strength has increased several times. She really didn't know how Chumo cultivated. In just 1 month, such a huge amount of strength has happened. Big variety. Don't worry, I'm willing to admit defeat, and I'll be your wife in the future. Kessie was very straightforward and gave Chumo a kiss directly. But before Chumo was happy, Kessie's next sentence made him sweat. From now on, you have to accompany me to practice every day. It's great to have a hand practice practitioner. Which didn't match her lowly look at all. Chumo was stunned for a moment. Did he gain or lose? In other words, only Makarita felt that she was at a loss. Both Vados and Kes found new joy in Chumo. But the current Grand Priest is a headache, because the 6th, 10th, and 11th universes have to be reselected. New Angel. This time, Chumo hooked his 3 daughters away, and he couldn't do anything about it. Next is a grand wedding. Chumo marries 3 angels at one time, and all 12 Yu are broken. Bad God and Kaiwang God, as well as those players who participated in the Power Conference, all came to the 7th universe to participate in Chumo's wedding. This wedding can be said to be the largest wedding in the universe, unprecedented. Only Margarita felt that she was tricked by Big Sister Kes, but there was a way to do it. One night, Chumo, 1 dragon and 5 phoenix, so happy. The next Earth is so lively that it has become a tourist planet in 12 universes. Shopping and gourmet food are simply profitable. Flipped. 18th, Kiki started the largest restaurant chain in the world and became the 3rd richest person in the world. How? What? Vegeta was defeated. As soon as Chumo got up, he heard Sun Wukong coming to report. How is it now? My dad is fighting the other side now, Uncle Chumo, let's go quickly. Son Gohan looked worried. Vegeta is already the 3rd strongest player on Earth. He has been defeated, and he can only rely on Chumo to take action. Chumo got dressed and went out, leaving only the 5 wives on the bed. Last night, he directly transformed into a Super Saiyan state and defeated 5 wives. What he didn't expect was Gram. Silk is actually the wildest. Even the mischievous-looking Makarita is not enough for Kes to be open enough to let Chumo enjoy her beauty. Who are you? What is the purpose of coming to Earth? Sun Wukong has entered the form of the ultimate free will, and he is fighting fiercely with the guy in front of him, but it can be seen that he was excited. Both of them restrained their energy, otherwise the Earth would shake. Seeing Gita's face was embarrassed, the armor on her body was tattered, and her face was blue and white. You don't have to worry about who I am, and you have no right to know. I'm here to find Chumo and ask him to come out and see me. 0 flowers. The opponent is very arrogant, with flowing white hair, a pair of gold glasses on the bridge of the nose, and a pair of glasses hanging from his waist. Knife, with a wicked smile on his face. Damn guy, how dare you say that we are not qualified? Vegeta clenched her fists and said fiercely. After returning from the power conference, his cultivation became more difficult, and his strength increased a lot. Even Hit, who came here a few days ago, was just a draw with him. You look down on me, damn it. After speaking, Vegeta shouted, jumped up, and flew over. Vegeta, you are too cunning, you lost just now, and now he is my opponent. Sun Wukong is very dissatisfied, this Vegeta is going to steal the head again. But the white-haired man didn't take it seriously. Even if Sun Wukong and Vegeta joined forces, he didn't show any fear. The three of them fought faster and faster. Although the white-haired man was at a disadvantage, he could still persevere. Obviously he did not expect that the combined power of Sun Wukong and Vegeta would be so strong. This is not 1+1. Strength only. Okay, stop. Just as the three of them were fighting well, Chumo's figure appeared, catching Sun Wukong and Vegeta's arms with both hands. Fist, and then kicked out even the white-haired man. Hey! Bang! The white-haired man flew out upside down and directly smashed the hill thousands of meters away. Fortunately, the Earth has been transformed into a star by Chumo, and it has not suffered much damage. He's from the dark world, leave it to me. Chumo said lightly, then turned around. Fu, you dare to come to Earth, you are welcome to die. Chumo raised the corner of his mouth and said coldly. Already. His current strength is not even a match for Kessie on the 9th floor of the realm of the gods, and Fu is only on the 7th floor now. He wants to kill Fu, it's not difficult at all. Death. It seems that you are very confident in yourself. Don't forget, who is better than who before. It seems that you. We Saiyans have this arrogant stinky bug. Fu Leng stood up coldly, he felt that he must not have noticed just now, so he was successfully attacked by Chumo. Otherwise, how could he be kicked out by the opponent? Pills. Chapter 218 The Abused Ephemeral. Chumo, I'm here to tell you a message, since your attitude is so unfriendly, then forget it. Fu was very unhappy. If you have any news, tell me quickly, or next year will be your day of sacrifice today. Chumo is too lazy to talk nonsense. Anyway, he has fought this guy so many times, he doesn't believe that Fu will let them go. Resentment. Sacrificial day. Do you have the ability? No matter how powerful you are, can you kill me? Fu Leng said coldly, his attitude was very arrogant, or he was full of confidence. Chumo looked at Fu with a funny look, this guy is really unprofessional. Since you are courting death, you can't blame me. Looking for death, then you have to have that ability. Even if you die, I will decide not to tell you. Fu Ke was not intimidated by Chumo. Do you think you have other options? Chumo rubbed his wrists and said coldly, 877. Whether there is a choice, you have to fight to know. Fu said confidently. After speaking, the figure flashed, and he directly threw his fist at Chumo and smashed it. Cut, that's it, you're already behind. Chumo sneered, and stretched out a finger, easily pressing it on Fu's fist. Boom. The powerful fist pressure that originally seemed to destroy the sky and the earth fell on Chumo's fingers, but it had no power at all. It's like hitting on cotton. Nani? Fu was surprised. Is this what you call powerful? No power at all. Chumo said disdainfully. Fu's strength is not as good as that of Weiss. Although the progress is great, it is really limited. Damn, how dare you despise me? The smile on Fu's face disappeared, and he became extremely angry. Originally, he and Chumo were similar in strength, but now he was dismissed by the other party. Such a thing cannot be accepted. Damn it, what qualifications do you have to make me look up? Damn. Fu turned sideways and swept directly with one foot. The powerful foot pressure made Sun Wukong and Vegeta, who were 100 meters away, couldn't help. His face changed. Such an attack is enough to seriously injure them. But for Chumo, it was nothing more than that. Chumo still didn't fight back, just raised his arm and blocked Fu's heavy foot bombardment. Boom. The strong foot pressure radiated out, and the two Sun Wukong who were hundreds of meters away were shaken back by dozens of meters. But on Chumo, not even the slightest splash was aroused. Nani Chumo, this guy actually blocked it. Vegeta was shocked. Chumo's strength has grown to what extent? Sun Wukong also looked at Chumo intently. Such a powerful strength has already made them dare not imagine. But he didn't know that Chumo had already merged the state of the gods with the normal state. It seems to be normal, but it maintains the Super Saiyan form all the time. Now he is no weaker than Whis just by relying on the strength of Super Saigon. Nothing more. Boom. Boom. Two large pits of tens of meters appeared in the open space behind Chumo, and the powerful power rose directly into the sky. Two mushroom clouds. Such strength is truly terrifying. How is this possible? Who are you? No, you are Chumo. Ah, no, you can't be Chumo. How did you do it? Fu's face was shocked. How did Chumo's strength increase so much? It's not scientific. He had felt Chumo's strength at the power conference, and he couldn't believe that in a month, this guy. So much progress. Are you blind? How did I do it? Didn't you see it? I did it with my hands. Chumo rolled his eyes, and the guy was so frightened that he almost collapsed. Bastard, why are you talking to me like that? Fu was furious. He has always been the one stronger than Chumo. But now it's the other way around. He can't stand it. What's wrong with scolding you? I'm going to hit you. Chumo said coldly, looking at Fu with disdain. After speaking, Chumo stretched out his hand a little, and Fu's body suddenly floated up. What's the situation? Fu was shocked that he could not control his body. Let's come. Chumo suddenly became a little interested, and directly cast magic to summon lightning. Crack. Dozens of lightning bolts fell from the sky and hit Fu directly. Yeah. Fu immediately screamed, and a burning smell came from his body. Chop down, smashing him to the point of death. But he just couldn't break free from Chumo's control. He felt that no matter how much he struggled, Chumo's power was still there. Strictly suppressed him back. This made Fu angry, but he didn't have time to curse. Because when he opened his mouth, it was howling in pain. How does it taste? Is it crunchy? It's very comfortable. Chumo asked with a sneer. It's comfortable at all. If you have the ability, you let me go. Fu roared, and the hatred in his eyes would kill Chumo. Yo, you look angry. But what's the use of you being angry? What a shit. Chumo looked at Fu Yixian with disdain. Fu was so angry with Chumo's eyes and tone that he was about to vomit blood. When had he been so ignored by others? Fire. Chumo recited a spell, and the sky instantly turned a crimson red, and fiery red clouds kept flying. This is fire magic. One after another powerful fire whip appeared in Chumo's hand, and then Chumo slammed a fire whip directly at Fu's body. Wow, oh. Fu felt a sharp pain in his body, but he could only scream, unable to resist at all. Chumo whipped a few hundred whips, and then ended the whiplash, and then asked disdainfully, how? Isn't it cool? Hey, cool, really cool. Fu gritted his teeth and replied that he could not wait to eat Chumo's meat. That will make you feel better. Chumo sneered at 5.2. But just as he was about to take the next step, Fu exploded with a bang. The earth was shaken a few times by this powerful energy explosion, and it kept shaking. This guy is really brave, hey. Chumo disdainful to look at Fu, who was forced to self-destruct by himself. Even if he was freed from the bondage just now, what could he do? Sample. He combined the laws of space with superpower space controllers to remotely control people, but it was the best. Fu, who turned into piles of purple waste meat, soon began to wriggle, and then kept condensing together. Not long after, Fu's figure reappeared in front of Chumo's eyes. Looking at Chumo with a provocative face. How? I'm free now. What can you do to me? Fu said with a smug smile. Thank you for visiting 5G Small. Chapter 219 Magic Attack, very strong. What are you proud of? being beaten like a dog by me. Chumo glanced at Fu coldly. This guy is not interesting. Then he stretched his hand to the top of his head, and a huge stone spear appeared in Chumo's hand. Immediately redraw. The huge stone pillar immediately shot at Fu's position. Damn it, I won't make you proud. Fu quickly pulled out the dagger on his waist, and his figure quickly rushed towards the flying stone pillar. Shish. The sword slashed across the stone pillar and immediately cut the stone pillar into 2 sections. Chumo, what else can you do? Fu smiled proudly. Cut, it's rubbish again, what's there to be proud of? It feels good to blow yourself up just now. Chumo smiled disdainfully. Then the figure rushed over quickly and disappeared in a flash. Behind. Fu slashed behind him. Unexpectedly, it was empty, and there was nothing. You are so stupid. Chumo said coldly. The voice came from in front of Fu, and a powerful force rushed towards him. Phased, he quickly turned the blade and slashed forward. Unfortunately, there is still no one. Where did it go? Fu's eyes kept turning, trying to find Chumo's figure. But no matter how he looked, he couldn't see Chumo's figure. On the contrary, Vegeta and Sun Wukong came out with a coldness from their hearts, because they clearly saw that Chumo just behind Fei. But no matter how Fu searched, he couldn't find Chumo's trace, which made them very puzzled. Is Fu really blind? Chumo patted Fu's shoulder. Ah. Fu was startled and turned around quickly, but found nothing. Then I felt a pat on the back, and I turned around again, but there was nothing. Fu was shocked, and the sword in his hand kept swiping, but he couldn't touch Chumo at all. Come out. Chumo, come out for me. Fu roared terribly, and the situation terrified him. He felt like an ant, and there was nothing he could do to face Chumo. You're only capable of this. You dare to speak stubbornly. I really don't know whether to say you are powerful, or I don't know how high the sky is. Tilda. Chumo sighed, this guy has been almost crazy by himself. At the same time, become more confident in your own strength. Die. Fu finally saw Chumo's figure and slashed directly with a knife. Trash. Chumo snorted coldly, turned his hand into a sword, and directly cut off the sword in Fu's hand. Then a slap in the face slapped Fu in the face. Crack. Fu's body was smashed and flew out, and then smashed the boulder hundreds of meters away. It's such a level, I'm embarrassed to call it. I really don't know where your confidence comes from. Chumo said disdainfully. Chumo, you have to pay the price for your arrogance. Fu rose to the sky and roared at Chumo. The purple-black breath in the body continued to pour out, and the body continued to grow, and finally the body became a 4-dimensional body. A 5-meter-tall giant with tall hair and a jet-like purple arrogance all over his body. At this time, Fu has become a state of Super Fu. Yo, you have also learned to transform. You have integrated Broly's genes into your body, right? You have insight. After feeling it, Chumo knew that this Fu fusion was the gene of the Super Saiyan. No wonder it can become so much stronger. Chumo's grinning expression made Fu even more angry. Chumo, you'll know soon enough, what will happen if you offend me. Fu looked at Chumo coldly and said viciously. Hey, you're so angry, what should you do if you're so angry? But that's fine, so that I won't kill you. Chumo continued to tease, making Fu's teeth itch with hatred. Baga, just laugh, I hope you will still be in this mood when you wait. Fu gritted his teeth as he spoke, as if flames were about to burst out of his eyes. Come on, don't just talk about it. Chumo hooked his index finger, his expression was very relaxed. Fu opened his hands, the purple breath continued to spurt, and 2 energy swords were condensed in his hands. Ah! Super Fu danced, and the 2 energy swords exuded a terrifying breath, forming a terrifying energy network and running towards Chu. Silent. I want you to die. Chumo. Super Feather is very confident. However, the next second was Chumo's answer. You think too much. Chumo's icy voice sounded, and there was a cold light in his eyes. Then he stretched out his hand, and an invisible magic shield appeared in front of him. Boom! The energy net was directly blocked by the gas shield, and a terrifying explosion occurred, and a deep pit with a size of hundreds of meters appeared in the in situ. But Chumo was unscathed and still looked relaxed. No, how is this possible? You're all right. Super Fu looked terrified, but he quickly threw these thoughts out of his mind. Then he continued to attack. I will kill you this time. The two-sword chi flew directly to Chumo's position, tearing apart the space along the way. Chumo touched his chin and smiled. I have some thoughts. Then, both hands slammed out with both fists, and the two qigong waves flew out directly, colliding with the two-sword chi violently. Together. Boom! The smoke billowed, and dazzling rays of light shot out, and the attack of the two neutralized again. But Super Fu was going all out just now, and Chumo was just a random attack. Seeing this situation, Fei's heart was more than half cold. Nima, this is Lao Su's strongest attack. Even if it doesn't hit you, the remaining energy can destroy the earth. But now, not even a spark has come out. It was really a blow, and it hurt Fei's self-confidence by 10,000 points. Alas, Lao Fu, your strength really disappoints me. You are not my opponent at all. Chumo looked very disappointed, which made Fu even more angry. To Wang Hao. I think he regarded Chumo as an experiment at the beginning, and could be at his mercy, but the first time he met him, he was caught by Chumo. Seriously wounded by the desperate play. When we meet again later, he can only be about the same as Chumo. The third time they met, he couldn't even beat Chumo's hand. Is he really that stupid? Or is Chumo just too talented? Super Fu feels very helpless. He has worked hard to cultivate, but he is still not a perverted opponent of Chumo. Damn, is this guy my nemesis? I don't believe it. There was a lot of sweat on Fu's forehead. He didn't believe this, otherwise he wouldn't do everything possible to find the Saiyan gene, and then integrate it into their own body. It's just that the reality hit him hard, and he was a little frustrated. Chapter 220 Life is better than death. Chumo looked at Fu, who was beaten, and felt very relieved. This was the first time he used magic. However, it seems to be very powerful. The power of the angel bloodline to use magic is very strong, at least far beyond Chumo's imagination. Say that news, and if it's worth it, I might be able to let you go. Otherwise, you're dead. Chumo's voice was very light, but it surprised Fu in his heart. Although he made an immortal body, he didn't know whether Chumo could kill him. Even if he can't, he has studied Chumo's ruthlessness, and it is estimated that he will be tortured by Chumo to the point of death. But he just can't take this breath. He has always regarded others as chess pieces. When was he treated like this? Did you play around with it? Chumo, stop talking big. For so many years, no one has ever dared to threaten me. Those who dare to threaten me have never dared to threaten me. It didn't end well. Fury said angrily. Well, that's because you didn't meet me. Now it's alright, your rules can be changed. It's the same when you meet you. It can have a good end, so to speak, you have no opinion. Chumo said lightly. This statement made Fu stunned. It seems that this is really the case. Every time he meets Chumo, Chumo's strength will skyrocket. Weaker than Chumo. However, Fei immediately expelled the idea. 477 Your sister, I am from the dark world, how can I make others stronger than me? Chumo, you are too arrogant. You are too arrogant, you don't cry without seeing the coffin. At this time, you dare to threaten me. I think you owe. Beat it up. Chumo teased, not feeling nervous at all. Ah. Fu was furious and yelled at Chumo. Ah, I will cry too, if you don't agree, do it, don't force it. Chumo also shouted with disdain. Fuck, cross punishment. Fu waved the two sharp swords in his hand, and then drew a huge 11 energy, which flew directly to Chumo. Cut, it doesn't make any sense. Chumo folded his hands, and a translucent mask appeared and flew directly over. Boom. The cross energy and the mask collided, and the violent energy explosion shook the surrounding ground. However, the smoke disappeared, and still nothing happened. Fu's powerful energy attack did not even touch Chumo's hair. On the other hand, Fu was so tired that he could only kneel on the ground, gasping for breath, his eyes showing a hint of despair. Hastily, I'm so pissed off, what's going on? You actually know magic? Fu looked very angry. This magic can only be used by special races. Angels and dark magicians and magicians, but angels rarely use magic, and Chumo doesn't look like heaven. Messengers and sorcerers. Lao Fu, stop scolding mother, don't be ashamed if you are not strong enough. Chumo's god made up the knife, which made Fu go crazy. Chumo, I have fought with you. Frustrated with shame, Fu rushed over with 2 energy swords in his hands. Go. Chumo spoke softly, raised his hands, and countless magic bullets floated like energy bullets. The magic bullet radiated fiery high temperature, like fireballs one after another, dyeing the sky red. As Chumo's voice fell, these fire-based magic bullets flew towards Fu. Fu, who was already extremely angry, saw Chumo's battle, his eyes shrank, and his feet stopped. Then, turn around and head in the other direction, flying back and flying away. He is going to escape down pointing arrow. It's no wonder if you don't escape, so many fire magic bullets come together, and you have to take off a few layers of skin if you don't die. In the dark world, most people do not dare to provoke a magician unless they attack at close range. But Chumo is not only a magician, he also said that he is a powerful close-quarters warrior, with double cultivation of demon body. How to fight this? Fu felt very angry. Your sister, how come all the good things have been spread to this guy? It's just that he's faster, the magic bullet is faster, and Fu is a lot slower here. Boom. CACF, Fu's body was blown to pieces again, all over the place. Seeing that the ground was blasted with a large hole several hundred meters, Chumo frowned, and then folded his hands together. The hole was very large. Almost recovered. This is also a creation out of thin air in magic, and Chumo uses it very well. Soon, Fu's body recovered, but even so, there were still wisps of sparks. Law goes out. Chumo, you hate it. Fu kept rolling, but still couldn't get rid of this spark from his body. He was still burnt to death. I can only scold Chumo to relieve the pain bitter. Enduring the severe pain, Fu wanted to stand up, but Chumo's figure moved directly to the top of Fu. Boom. Chumo, the foot directly stepped on Fu's face, directly stepping him into the ground. And stepped on him again. Not coming out. After a while, Fu finally stopped struggling, and the super form was released. Quote. Chumo, I'm here to tell you something. After you listen, decide whether to continue to deal with me or not. Fu's voice came again. Tell me, if it's worth it, I'll let you go. Chumo said coldly and did not let go. Fu said slowly, Chumo, Bulma of the future time and space was taken away. I'm here to tell you this. Information. Bulma in the future. Yes, from the time and space where you came back. Fu said it again. Chumo finally remembered the time and space he traveled through. Trunks there has been killed by Sharu, and it is through Bulma there that he returns here. Space-time. For a long time, he didn't really want to go back to that time and space. He thought that Bulma might have died long ago, because her heart and hope were dead. Unexpectedly, she was still alive. Just got caught. However, he is not afraid that others will know that he has crossed into this world from the Earth in his previous life, because Cain also said. However, she couldn't find Chumo's mark in other worlds at all. In other words, Chumo is the Saiyan who was born and raised in that time and space. Even the King of Time Realm can't find out, even if they are big priests, they can't find out the identity of Chumo's outsiders. Even if he knows, what can he do? His current strength is no longer afraid of these. You didn't lie to me. Chumo asked coldly. How dare I? My life is now in your hands. Frustrated. He didn't know if Chumo could kill him, but he was pretty sure that Chumo could make his life worse than death.